Showers and a possible storm today, heading for 29 with the 6 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
The Albanese government is hoping to ban debit card surcharges from 2026 as it tries to shift the conversation back to cost of living issues. Federal Politics editor Michael Packey.
The Prime Minister is campaigning in Queensland today as latest polls show voters are abandoning Labor. He'll announce $2 million will be given to the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission to monitor surcharges on debit cards as fewer people use cash to make purchases. There are growing concerns over fees the banks and other providers like Apple and Google charge consumers and small business to use their own money electronically. The ACCC will complement the work being done by the Reserve Bank on the payment system in the hope surcharges can be banned from January 2026.
An Israeli airstrike in northern Lebanon has left at least 21 people dead. The attack marks the first time a Christian area has been hit and follows an attack which killed 4 Israeli soldiers at a military base. The federal government has updated travel advice urging Australians not to travel to the Middle East. David Speers is tipped to make his exit from state politics official today. The former SA Liberal leader is not expected to do it in person on North Terrace, opting instead to forward his resignation letter to Speaker Leon Bignell. That will set the wheels in motion for the by-election in his southern suburb seat of Black. David Speers stepped down from the Lib's top job in August. He'll front court next month, charged with supplying a controlled substance. The 39-year-old has vowed to clear his name of any allegations. The Greens have called on the state government to drop Santos as a Tour Down Under sponsor if they're serious about wanting the COP31 climate summit in Adelaide. Greens MP Tammy Frank says SA has to walk the talk by dropping Santos, a fossil fuel company, as an event sponsor. However, a government spokesman said the reason South Australia was leading the country in renewables was because the state uses gas. More than a third of South Australian households struggled to put food on the table in the past year. Mel Asher says Foodbank and the RAA are teaming up to lend a helping hand.
35% of all SA households experienced food insecurity in the past year, according to Foodbank's latest hunger report. For single-parent households, it rises to 69%. Food insecurity can range from households reducing the quality or variety of their food to having their eating patterns disrupted due to financial pressure. This week, the RAA and Foodbank are holding their 5th annual food drive. South Australians can donate food items at participating RAA outlets or catch up with the mobile food hub. It will be at Woolworths in Mount Barker today, Newton Village Shopping Centre tomorrow, Marion on Thursday and in the mall on Friday.
There are calls for Temu to sign a voluntary product safety pledge after children's toys on the shopping platform failed safety tests. Choice surveyed 15 products on the site, finding every item did not meet mandatory button battery regulations. Deputy Campaign Director Andy Kelly says the toys carry a serious risk of injury to children.
One of the worst products that we tested was the Light Up Tutu. This had a battery compartment which was not childproof at all. It could be opened just by using a fingernail.
The products are no longer available for purchase. The fire danger season has started early in some parts of the state. It began at midnight in selected areas including the Eastern Eyre, Flinders and Northeast and Northwest Pastoral districts due to the dry conditions. More districts will come online at the start of next month, with the Adelaide metro area and Mount Lofty fire danger season starting December 1. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. With just 2 days left of the AFL's trade period, Dan Houston has been left in limbo after a blockbuster 3-team move was sensationally snubbed by Port Adelaide. Houston was on the verge of becoming a Collingwood player. Carlton and North Melbourne are also vying for him. There's still been no breakthroughs either on talks for Bailey Smith to join Geelong. Deals are yet to go through as well for Richmond trio Liam Baker, Shai Bolton and Daniel Rioli, as well as Eagle Tom Barrass, who's yet to land at Hawthorn. Jake Stringer still remains on the table. Well, Australian Grand Prix chiefs have set a Christmas deadline to decide whether the popular post-race practice of fans spilling out onto the Albert Park circuit will ever return. Fans were this year banned from stepping onto pit lane once the checkered flag was waved in response to a dangerous spectator invasion at last year's event. Well, the Socceroos are aiming to change history tonight as they kickstart their World Cup qualifying campaign against Japan once more. Australia hasn't beaten Japan since 2009. Cricket Australia's Chief of Selectors, George Bailey, is confident the team can adjust to Cameron Green's absence. The West Aussie star has been ruled out for the summer due to back surgery. Bailey says Green will be sorely missed, but the team has the depth to cover the all-rounder.
Like any time you have an injury to an important player or a player who's in your first choice 11, there's contingencies around that and you adjust and move on.
And at the Women's T20 World Cup overnight, New Zealand has smashed Pakistan by 54 runs. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Showers and a possible storm today, 29. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 28. Thursday, showers, 30. Friday, showers and windy, 20. Currently, it's 19. More news as it happens on 5AA.
With a Westpac home loan package, not only is all your banking in one place, but you'll also save over $5,000 on interest charges in the first year alone that you can spend on whatever you like. I could finally get a parrot. Or maybe not. Search Westpac home loan packages today. Credit criteria, T's and C's, fees, charges and $395 annual package fee apply. Based on a $400k Rocket Repay variable rate home loan standard package discount. Visit westpac.com.au/packages.
Everybody knows Right Price are the heating and cooling experts. So imagine how much you can save when they join forces with EcoVantage, the incentive experts. Together with Right Price, EcoVantage will help you source all the government incentives you're entitled to when it comes to heating and cooling your home, including energy-efficient heat pump hot water systems. Right Price and EcoVantage, the best of both worlds when it comes to heating, cooling and government incentives.
Happy 70th birthday Volkswagen! Mawson Lakes Volkswagen invites you to get in on the celebrations with a huge birthday sale on new and demo Volkswagens. School birthday savings right across the range. Timing is easy with immediate delivery and easy finance options. And it's easy to keep your Volkswagen running like a dream with convenient next-day servicing. Join the VW Club and test drive today. Happy 70th Volkswagen from Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Just a short drive from the city.
I don't know about
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Graham Goodings and Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide. 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Good after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast. It is the 15th of October and we have a big morning ahead. Have you seen classic cars driving around? I saw a great old Fiat driving around Henley over the weekend. It was clearly in town as part of the Beta Birdwood that's taking place this Sunday. We're going to be talking about that just before 7 o'clock today. Another edition of What Cheese Am I? As we give away Cheese Fest tickets. It was back with a bang yesterday. Phil Curry in the nation's capital. We'll talk federal politics with Phil. I'm going to chat with Bob Starkey, Bongo from the Skyhooks after 8 o'clock today. And indeed, a whole lot more going on around Adelaide at the moment. David Penberthy, of course, in the studio with us. Morning, David.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Bit of drizzle around. Very tropical in the last sort of 12 hours. A lot of rain down south yesterday afternoon.
Is your house in the spiders have decided to come to inside mode yet? Because ours is. The heat has just kicked them into spiders don't want to be outside anymore.
Not so much spiders, a lot of flies around.
Yes.
We've had the because often I just leave the veranda window open, the door open. But yeah, last night there were about 10 of them just going zzz. They didn't look like flies, they looked more like sand flies. Do you get them down there? I suppose you would. You get a little bit down there. Slow moving when there's a bit of moisture in the air. Coastal flies. I'm more concerned about snakes. Has anyone seen a snake yet? I've been gardening like a maniac down there, and you know, a few weeds behind the rainwater tank, and I was going to get in there with my hands, but I thought I might use the busted up old mower for that one. Just something that makes a large amount of noise.
Yeah. There's been a few snake sightings already. It's that time of the year where all the snake catcher stories are starting to appear on the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah,
there was one at there was a big one that crossed Lineal Park last week.
Oh, we had a caller about that last week.
That's right. Yeah, 2 metre long brown snake it was, wasn't it?
Whopper.
Something absolutely massive. But it is that time of year. The animals are on the move because, of course, the climate is changing. The temperatures of this week have been, it's just all over the shop. Every day you wake up and it feels like it's a different story. Right now, 19.3 degrees outside in the city. The lowest temperature overnight was 19.2.
Lowest?
The lowest we got to overnight.
That's crazy.
Is sort of around this, but 19.2 at 5 a.m. Top of 29 today, but 29 with 8 mils of rain, as you just heard in the FIVEAA news. 28 tomorrow, then 30 on Thursday. 6 mils of rain. So it could be 13 mils of rain between Thursday and Friday when the temperature drops back from 30 to 20. But then by Monday it'll be back up to 30 again. So
it feels more like being in Queensland in winter than Adelaide in spring at the moment.
It really does.
Where you get those sort of...
It feels tropical.
Flashes of a bit of coolness when it's raining. But other than that, it feels quite close, as my grandmother would say. You know that term? Close? When it feels like it's going to rain, but it doesn't. Have you been following this story about the new NRL team, the rugby league team for Papua New Guinea?
No, only the political element of it is, which goes to taxpayers' money that's been spent in.
Well, it's a huge amount of money.
Getting it off the ground. It's a diplomatic exercise, isn't it?
Yeah, the figure that's being floated is that the feds are going to spend $600 million. I'm not sure over how long, whether that's $600 million over 10 years, and also whether it's purely $600 million in PNG or whether other countries like, you know, because the whole region is rugby league mad, particularly rugby league. Although in PNG, they love, because one mistake we make as South Australians is we call rugby and rugby league the same thing when they're completely different. League is the sort of working class version, the one that's played in Sydney by the Parramatta Eels, the Penrith Panthers, the Canterbury Bulldogs, blah. Union is the sort of rah-rah private school one in Australia. That's your Wallabies, the Bledisloe Cup, you know, Australia v the Springboks or the All Blacks, all of that sort of stuff. Even though it's quite a sort of classless sport overseas, and in New Zealand it's the equivalent of, like, you know, the local footy. Here in Australia, Union is the more high-end one that all the private schools have historically got into and propped up. But league is the punters' version. Well, anyway, in PNG, where it's league and league only, apparently Albo's come up with this plan to spend $600 million to give PNG a side in the NRL. So this would be the equivalent of, say they were mad on Aussie rules up there, them getting a franchise alongside the new Tassie Devils or something like that, and actually having an AFL side. But it's apparently, though, the whole thing is contingent on PNG signing a security agreement with Australia, or promising never to sign a security agreement with China.
China aren't giving you a league team. That seems to be the argument.
But you sort of think about it in the if sport is the new lever, like, what's to stop China saying to Vanuatu, look, you know, I mean, Vanuatu had that great female weightlifter who was the great hope of Vanuatu, that she was going to be their first medalist. What's to stop China from saying we're going to set up a weightlifting excellence academy in Port Vila? Or even down the track.
They could.
What's to stop China from saying, hey, okay, Port Moresby, you might like having the Port Moresby, what would you call them? The Rascals. No, maybe not the Rascals, given that's the name of the local gangs. Is there something in the Bird of Paradise?
Sure.
But what's to stop China saying, okay, Australia might have given you a team, we're going to give you Super League and set up a PNG-based...
Yeah, we're not winning a bidding war on anything. Well, you say Vanuatu. There was that great story in the A-League last year before last. Brian Kaltak, the Central Coast Mariners defender, captain of Vanuatu's national team. First time anyone playing football out of Vanuatu had ever featured anything of significance when they played in the grand final. The Prime Minister of Vanuatu came and watched the game.
Did he really?
Yeah, and he was hugging him after the game. And like, it was a huge moment in the history of sport there. China better positioned than us to offer them a professional soccer franchise.
Yeah.
If they wanted to go that way. But you're right. Yeah, we don't win the bidding war on sports and the ability to leverage financial power. That said, culturally, if they do love league and they want to be part of the league action, there's not really anyone else you can turn. China might say we can start a league from scratch. Yeah. We'll give you 12 franchises, but they're all probably fans of the sport in Australia, and they can't offer that sort of cultural connection.
It's amazing how much it matters. I met a guy called Chuggy.
This is Saudi Arabia's entire business model.
Yeah, completely. There was this guy called Chuggy who drove us to see this turtle sanctuary in Vanuatu years ago with the kids. And he was wearing a Socceroos scarf. And I said, what are you wearing a Socceroos scarf for, mate? And he said, I just love Australia. And he said, I always love the Socceroos. And he said, Vanuatu have played some friendlies against Australia. And he said, apparently the Socceroos played there or something. And the FIVEAA took a whole bunch of Socceroos stuff and gave it out. So he still had this scarf. But he's very astute. He followed international politics really closely, this guy. And he said, Port Vila, he said, it's turning into a little Shanghai, and I don't like it. Because so much Chinese money was going into Port Vila. And he said, I'd rather have a friendly relationship with a free country like Australia than with China.
This is the new world we're in. Sport is a political mechanism for making friends and
he was great.
Eliminating enemies.
We had this big political conversation. Then he looked at me and goes, do you like Taylor Swift? And I went, yeah, we love her. So he put on a CD in the car. And then anyway, he said, what day are you leaving? And I said, I think Tuesday or something. And we got to the airport. And there's Chuggy just standing there. I went, g'day, Chuggy. He goes, oh, hi, Dave. He said, I just wanted to come and say goodbye to you and your family. So we stood there, had a hug at the airport.
Oh,
Kids thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
We should deploy you and the Pemberthies to the Pacific Island
Between
nations
us and Chuggy, we'll sort things out.
Exactly right. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to jump into the news headlines next.
The Philhoppen Travel Expo is back this Sunday, October 20. It's the biggest and best travel event in Adelaide, hosted by Adelaide, with over 60 worldwide tour operators, cruise lines, airlines and travel experts. Experience the PHT difference with inspiring travel talks, early bird discounts, one-day only deals, booking bonuses including a glass of French champagne and incredible holiday prizes. The PHT Travel Expo this Sunday, Adelaide Convention Centre. Entry is free. Register at pht.com.au.
An Australian study will be launched to test a new Novavax vaccine to join the ongoing battle against COVID and flu. The Adelaide investigation, led by Fusion Clinical Research, will involve people aged 65 and older, and Fusion is seeking volunteers to take part. The participants will need to be already vaccinated against COVID. You will be paid for your time. Interested? Go to fusiontrials.com.au or call 7077 6996.
Now, you don't put your shoes on before your pants or your lipstick before your foundation, but at Lifestyles Lonsdale, it's best to do that last thing first. For example, pick your tiles.
That's right. Lifestyles has every size, every style, all at prices that mean you don't have to compromise. Let the tile you love inspire the design of your bathroom or kitchen. There's more than 60 years' experience in the Lifestyles team, so you can trust their expert advice.
Whether you're becoming an empty nester or you simply want to update your home to add value, do the last bit first and start with your tiles. For designer tiles at warehouse prices, choose Lifestyles Lonsdale.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Farmyard Wines, where cheeky wines meet well-hung vines. Uncap a bottle of fun and flavour without breaking the bank. Visit farmyardwines.com.
From the creators of the 2021 and 2022 Drive Car of the Year comes the next big thing. The all-electric 7-seat Kia EV9. The 2024 Drive and now World Car of the Year. Visit your nearest Kia showroom or find out more at kia.com.au.
Kia. Movement that inspires. FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, FIVEAA Breakfast.
Minutes after 6 news headlines on this Tuesday morning. David Spears is tipped to make an official exit from state politics today. Not expected to do it in person, mind you, but he'll send his resignation letter to Speaker Leon Bignell, or so we understand.
Is video going to emerge of him resigning, do you think?
Maybe. I hope it's legitimate.
That's
not
right.
some sort of elaborate deep fake. I'll believe this one. The by-election will take place for the seat of Black, but the process needs to start with him officially resigning. None of the wheels can get in motion until that takes place, which will be today. Medical colleges are pushing back on plans to fast-track GPs from Ireland, New Zealand and the UK. Foreign doctors can now apply for specialist registration without first being assessed by the Royal Australian College of GPs. But the college is warning 1 in 5 aren't suitable for practice in Australia due to communication, professionalism or training issues. Ireland, New Zealand, the UK, communication issues?
Ireland, New Zealand and the UK, they all speak English, don't they?
They've got to be careful, the college, because this is at a time when there's a significant shortage of GPs in the country.
Sounds like a demarcation
It
dispute,
sounds like they're trying to protect their patch. Now, look, you don't want anyone coming in who's not professionally qualified, but I struggle to think that Ireland, New Zealand and the UK are dramatically different from Australia.
Imagine if you rocked up at your GP, though, and it was like that guy from Train Spotting. What's his name? Begbie. He just can't understand a single thing
Well,
you say.
we love our Scottish listeners.
We do.
But none of them are from Scotland.
Yeah, well, that's
Hang on,
right.
no, there's the UK. I suppose they could technically be from Scotland. That's
what
true.
about Andy from Henley Beach?
Yeah, we know. I'm just saying we love our Scots.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I mean, how many Begbie doctors are there?
Yeah, well, that's right.
Well, I think it seems unlikely.
Got the wrong sort of bedside manner for it.
King
You got
Charles.
problems.
King Charles is expected to attend the races at Royal Randwick when he arrives in Sydney. The monarch will land in Australia on Friday night. He's going to take a break from his cancer treatment to do so. The Everest Day features a $5 million King Charles III Stakes that's named in his honour. So the suspicion is he might get along to see the horse racing.
Good luck to him. I reckon, I'm a Republican, and every time I hear anyone, well, not anyone, don't say anyone. Every time I hear Craig Foster open his mouth, I feel like joining Australians for Constitutional Monarchy. I feel like ringing David Flint. Hello, I'm David Flint, I love the King. I feel like ringing Professor David Flint and saying, hey Dave, is there anything I can do to help Australia remain a monarchy forever? Because I just heard Craig Foster whacking on like the sanctimonious sod that he is.
I really like Craig Foster as a football commentator. Him tweeting the invite. And then making a big step. I will not be accepting an invite. We just felt like a very modern sort of cheap stunt.
It was what it was
farming for cheap likes online.
It was the ultimate bit of name dropping. Look at me, I've been invited to this. Get your hand off it, Daryl, sort of stuff. I'm just trying to use. Here we go. Yeah, so he got the invite. This is what I wanted to read out. So there's a Labor MP in Victoria called Phil Dalladakis, who's really actually quite funny, and I follow him. He wrote this back to Craig Foster. Craig Foster, for those not in the know, is now the head of the Australian Republican movement. He's the chair of it. So he wrote this tweet. Thanks at Chris Minns MP, but no thanks. This is about the invite to the Premier's Community Barbecue in Sydney, welcoming King Charles. Thanks, but no thanks. I look forward to being in the presence of our first Aussie head of state when we put our big pants on as a country. And he's tweeted his own invite with his name on it, Craig Foster. Phil Dalladakis wrote, what a self-indulgent little child you are, Craig Foster. Firstly, to big note yourself by showing everyone you're invited to the state's community reception for the King. Hopefully they don't make that mistake again. And secondly, to share the invite publicly and embarrass Chris Minns and Mrs. Minns by refusing. Thirdly, whatever you think of Charles and the monarchy, he's deserving of respect for the work he does. I too am a Republic supporter and look forward to the day we have our own head of state. But until then, try to show a little bit of class.
Yeah, well said.
It's good.
New rip detecting technology will be trialled on one of the country's most famous beaches this summer. The AI-based service can pick up swimmers in distress and locate potential rips and dangerous currents across the surf. It's going to be trialled at Sydney's Bondi Beach, and if successful, the creators hope it'll be able to be used right across the country. Surf Lifesaving Sydney Rescue Services manager Simon Smith says the technology will ease pressure on lifesavers.
Lifesavers aren't there all the time, so having something like AI or computer-generated technology that can actually identify rips, look for people in distress will definitely be a big help over the busy summer.
Yeah, when we're sitting around talking about the potential applications of AI, I don't think anyone said surf life-saving.
Did you see? Have you seen the video of this? I think it was on Channel 7 News last night, wasn't it? I saw some of it. So people who are swimming, they all pop up as a blue box. And if anyone goes into a rip, they go red. So there's a red box. It's like a video game. It's superbly designed.
Yeah, it's just fascinating, isn't it? 25 after 8. The weather, as we've been saying, is, well, it's warm and it's pretty weird. 19.4 degrees outside at the moment. Top of 29 today, with a chance of a thunderstorm during the morning and afternoon today. Up to 8 mils of rain. But again, goes to the variability because it's 0 to 8 mils of rain. And there's a 20% chance there's no rain at all. So that's today. Tomorrow, dry and 28. Then the rain returns Thursday and we hit 30 with up to 6 mils of rain. Again, variability. It's not certain that it's going to come through on Thursday. Friday, it will come through. There's going to be a change. It'll drop back to 20. The overnight low still 15. We're not going to get below 15 for the next 4 days, just about. Top of 20 on Friday and up to 7 mils of rain. Then it's dry. Saturday, 20, partly cloudy. Sunday will be perfect. 25, sunny, light winds, magnificent. Monday, 31 and mostly sunny. So, some beautiful conditions ahead. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. Control Air, Australia's commercial refrigeration and air conditioning experts. Visit controlairaustralia.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Nice little postscript from your chat yesterday with Sharon Hazelwood. Really good interview you boys had yesterday with the mum of Todd Hazelwood, who, of course, won at Bathurst, just the second South Aussie to achieve that dream. We heard about the, I suppose, difficult road they had and the path they had in terms of raising money. He spoke a little bit about that with Stacey Lee on Afternoons yesterday and just how much they did for him and sacrificed for him. Let's have a listen.
Certainly didn't have the richest parents, which you certainly can help in motorsport. But, I guess one thing that we did have is my mum and dad taught me is that you've got to have a good work ethic if you want to achieve anything in life. And everything we did was just, don't listen to the doubters and the haters. And a lot of people said we'd never make it in the sport because we never had the funds and we never had the money, but we somehow proved them wrong.
Yeah, great stuff. So really good story for him. And, I think we've all rejoiced and enjoyed, even those that don't follow motorsport that closely, when you see a story like that.
I know the first thing about it, but that was a fun interview yesterday.
Yeah, it was good.
It's an amazing story.
You guys did really well.
Powerful motivator if you're a young sort of boy or girl that wants to get on in your sport too, and you think, well, I can't really slack off training today because mum and dad mortgaged their home for me to be here.
Exactly.
And motorsport is just so expensive. It is so ridiculously expensive. So, they have done it the hard way, but, it probably makes the fruits of your labour so much more rewarding. Now, speaking of rewards, there's not going to be many for Port Adelaide. At the trade table, it doesn't seem. This three-way mega trade with Collingwood and Gold Coast to get Dan Houston to the Pies has fallen over. So, just in summary,
in summary, good luck with that.
Well, this is the thing.
It's like the periodic table, this thing.
And I think Port fans are saying, you weren't seriously considering this in the first place, were you? So, Port was going to get Jack Lukosius from Gold Coast, Joe Richards from Collingwood, Rory Atkins, who's been at the Crows and Gold Coast. I think it's a bit of the steak knives, but then they also get picks 13, 29 and 36. They give up Dan Houston, a 2025 first round pick, picks 39 and 58. So, look, if they do well, it's not too much that they're losing with their first round pick, but if they, say, finished in the bottom 6 or 7 next season, that's a potential top 5, top 10 pick that they're losing. So I think Port fans said, no way. Anyway, they've since balked at that trade and have said, no, we're not going to do that. So it's back to the drawing board.
So where's Houston play next year?
Well, this is it. It's looking, with that development and the more time goes, I think it's more likely he stays.
He's been the model.
Him and Ivan Soldo are going to have a lot to talk about, aren't they?
Well, no, I think they're different.
Ivan
Soldo's burnt the joint down on the way out.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Dan Houston should be the model. Is the model for how everyone should leave a football club. He said, "I've got family reasons or whatever his personal reasons are to go back to Melbourne." He hasn't said, "And I'm only going to play for Hawthorn or Melbourne or whatever." He said,
"He's left his.
I want to go there. You guys work out the best deal for you." That's the model, and I think. For that reason, he's going to leave, and everyone will be disappointed about it, I'm sure. But ultimately, he's not going to be some sort of pariah. He's not going to be hated.
Yep.
Because I think he's conducted himself incredibly professionally, and he's made sure his former club will be looked after, maybe even to the extent that he doesn't get to leave.
That's right. 36 hours to go, so time is ticking, but it does prove again, doesn't it? The trade period is too long.
Is there any chance the Socceroos beat Japan away tonight?
No,
Japan have kicked 13 goals, haven't lost a game.
I think it's unlikely. They haven't beaten them over there ever before. They haven't beaten them since 2009. Yeah, so...
Wow.
They're going to have to...
They're good, really good side, Japan.
Going to have to create some history. Very tough. That said, I think the Socceroos will lift playing to a higher standard, and I don't think Japan will play with the same, don't want to use the word arrogance, but perhaps confidence or swagger that they do against sides like Indonesia, where they can just, pour it on. I think the Socceroos will lift, but they're going to have to. I think a draw would be a great result.
This is the kind of fixture where you like having Tony Popovic as your manager.
Yeah.
Because when Western Sydney won the Asian Cup, it was going to places like Japan and somehow scratching out results that got them there. And you went, how in the hell did he get a team to win that?
Yeah.
It wasn't never pretty. I wouldn't expect to win with style or flair tonight, but it'll be pragmatic, and I think he's the right man for tonight's job.
Yeah.
Speaking of tonight, it's not on TV. Con rightly's fired up about it. You even got a letter in the Tizer today after the break. We're going to tell you how you can watch it on Paramount. I don't know. That's why I'm saying we're going to tell you that, because I want to know, is there a way you can do it?
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers and a possible storm today, heading for 29 with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
At least 21 people have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on northern Lebanon, marking the first time a majority Christian area has been hit. Europe correspondent Hannah Sinclair.
The main focus of Israel's military operations have been in southern Lebanon so far, targeting Hezbollah members and weapons. But this strike hit a town mostly occupied by Christians in the north. It comes as funerals get underway for the 4 Israeli soldiers killed in a Hezbollah drone strike on an Israeli army base. Israel is yet to retaliate against Iran after its ballistic missile attack earlier this month. But the UK has now announced sanctions against senior Iranian officials, including the commander of the army. Meanwhile, the Australian government has updated its travel advice for Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, saying it's no longer safe to go there.
Meantime, travel advice for Israel and Palestinian territories has changed. The Department of Foreign Affairs is advising Australians not to travel into the region due to the volatile security situation and ongoing conflict. Citizens in Israel are being warned to leave while commercial flights remain available and border crossings are still open. A high-profile resignation from State Parliament is expected today. Mel Usher reports.
David Spears is tipped to make his exit from state politics official today. The former SA Liberal leader is not expected to do it in person, opting instead to forward his resignation letter to Speaker Leon Bignell. He outlined his plans in a video statement earlier this month. That will set the wheels in motion for the by-election in his southern suburb seat of Black. The Libs and Labor have already revealed their candidates. David Spears stepped down as Liberal leader in August. He'll front court next month, charged with supplying a controlled substance. The 39-year-old has vowed to clear his name of any allegations.
The Prime Minister believes he will lead Labor to majority government at the next election. The opposition has opened up a 2 percentage point lead in the latest news poll. Analysts say a hung parliament is increasingly likely after the election, which is due next year. But Anthony Albanese says he's confident that won't be the case.
I'm very focused on continuing to lead a majority government. My government has a record that we're very proud of, a record that's cut inflation in half, whilst creating almost 1 million jobs, whilst providing cost of living relief.
It's Anti-Poverty Week. 35% of all SA households experienced food insecurity in the past year, according to Foodbank's latest hunger report. Foodbank and RAA are holding their 5th annual food drive this week. The mobile food hub will be at Woolworths at Mount Barker today, Newton Village Shopping Centre tomorrow, Marin on Thursday, and in Rundle Mall on Friday. Tens of thousands of potential blood donations are going to waste. Those living with high iron levels are required to remove blood once every 2 to 3 months, but up to 73,000 bags of blood are being discarded at GPs and pathology centres each year. Lifeblood Research Director David Irving says those patients should consider donating instead.
Lack of education, I think, is probably one of the key issues. About 40% of those people didn't know that their blood could be used essentially to help other people.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Tom Wren, what's happening with Dan Houston?
Oh, goodness, it's just going round and round in circles now, isn't it, Graham? And it looks like we're back to square one. Time is fast running out for Port Adelaide to now engineer a trade for Houston after a three-way mega trade involving Collingwood and the Gold Coast Suns that would have seen Houston end up at the Pies fell over late yesterday. But there has at least been some good news for the Power with a third AFLW Rising Star nominee for the season. Ruck Matilda Schultz, the latest player to be recognised. It follows her match against the Pies where she picked up 15 touches and had 19 hitouts as well as booting a goal. Well, cricket selectors insist Sam Constas is ready for the big stage. The 19-year-old New South Wales opener has been named in the Australia A squad for the upcoming series against India A. New Zealand, meantime, has defeated Pakistan by 54 runs to advance to the semi-finals at the Women's T20 World Cup. Let's go to the World Game. Australia insist they will give Japan a run for their money in tonight's crucial World Cup clash. The Blue Samurai have had a flawless campaign so far, sitting top of the table undefeated and having not conceded a goal. Socceroos coach Tony Popovic says it will be a great test.
You know, they keep growing from strength to strength, and that's something that we have to do as a nation, and we need to be challenging Japan for first position every campaign.
Meantime, plenty of UEFA Nations League matches are well into the second half now, and it's 1-1 between Belgium and France. Italy is 1-0 up against Israel. Germany and the Netherlands are locked at 0-0, while Wales leads Montenegro 1-0. And the field for next week's The Everest is locked in. Coolmore has filled its slot with Gay Waterhouse's Storm Boy for the $20 million race at Royal Randwick, a place-getter in the Golden Slipper. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
29 possible showers and storm today. Tomorrow mostly sunny, 28. Thursday showers, 30. And Friday showers, windy, and 20 degrees. It's currently 19. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 7. Police and weather coming up this half hour. We're going to talk Beta Birdwood. Do we have any listeners that participate in the Beta Birdwood? Anyone got a vintage car in the garage that they fire up for one event a year, or maybe when the weather gets nice? You've got those limited registrations. You can only drive them for 45 days in the year or something or other. Someone will know that's got it. Let us know. 8223
What's the criteria for that?
To get that registration?
Yeah. Does the car have to predate a certain period?
It's a great question. I'm not sure. Well, it's not practical. It's not like a cheap way of getting around a rego, because you can't drive it that often, and you've got to keep a logbook. But if you had a Monaro, you've got to keep a logbook of every time you drive it, and if you get pulled over, police can ask to let me have a look at that and see have you kept your logbook up to date. You couldn't do it with a 1996. Toyota Hiace van that you only drive occasionally on the beach, could you? There's a Tesla Cybertruck appearing in the Beta Birdwood. Really? Yeah. That crazy space age thing? Yeah. That ridiculously looking Tesla utility. As promised, folks, here's how to get around tonight's, I think, annoying decision to only screen the Socceroos v Japan game on Paramount Plus. Now, for those of you who don't know, Paramount Plus is a streaming service just like Netflix, Disney Plus and Stan. Paramount's the parent company that owns Network 10. So to subscribe, you'd go to all the apps on your screen and Paramount would pop up. If you've got a modern TV, Paramount will be listed along with Netflix and it's all there, isn't it? Well, SBS. Yeah, I think not always. Okay. You may need to download it from the little app store. So you might need to go to the app store. Somehow, it's starting to get a bit complicated. Plans start from $6.99 a month. That includes ads. Or you can get a plan from $10.99 a month. That's ad-free. I'll tell you what, you start tallying all these up. If you've got 10 apps, suddenly you're spending close to $1,000 a year on all of these streaming services. However, this is how to game it, folks. You can sign up tonight
or get one of your kids to do it for you, because it sounds a bit complicated for me. You can sign up for a free 7-day trial and then cancel the trial before the subscription kicks in. Now, you need to put your credit card in, because they want to have you there so that if you forget to cancel it, they can start deducting
the
money
$7
from your
starts
credit
coming
card.
out.
So as long as you remember, you can subscribe to Paramount for a free 7-day trial and then cancel the trial and watch the game for free.
Yes. There's one hole in the plan. What if you want to watch the other away World Cup qualifiers after this?
Can you resubscribe for another free 7-day trial?
I think once you've used up your trial period, you're done.
No, you just need a different credit card each time.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
so,
starting
you
to get
put
complicated.
A different name in, Mrs. Elsie Nussbaum, to borrow the non-deployed Steve Martin uses in the jerk.
Are you
Throw
suggesting
in a couple of white wool tires and put them on the credit card. Okay, Mrs. Nussbaum. I love that scene.
So just to be clear, your answer, the way to watch all the Socceroos away qualifiers is to commit credit card fraud.
No, use somebody else's credit card.
Okay.
Get your wife to subscribe for the free trial. Or one of your kids if they've got a credit card.
Okay, sorry. So I'm glad we clarified that.
Would you mind in a couple of weeks' time, could you just give me one of your credit card numbers?
Paul in Woodville Gardens has called in on 8223 Morning to you, Paul.
How you going, fellas?
Yeah, good, thanks, Paul.
The power's been out for about an hour and a half now. I rang, 2 hours, I rang AGL, and they've got like push number 1 for faults and outages and stuff. I pushed number 1. The lady said, what are you ringing for? I told her. She said, oh, I can't help you.
Oh, that's good.
And I said, oh, what am I supposed to do? She said, I'll ring back at 8 o'clock and there'll be somebody that will be able to help you.
Well,
and I said, you're joking, aren't you? And she's, look, I can't help you, so you have to ring back at 8 o'clock, and hung up.
Oh, that's.
Hey, Paul, well, you sound like you almost need a Care Alert smart dialer.
Yeah, that's almost sound off territory.
It's just sad, man.
Paul, don't stress, because I've got the information here for you. So there is an outage. It's a big one. Angle Park, Ferryton Park, Mansfield Park, Woodville Gardens and Woodville North, affecting over...
Hey, fellas, can I just say one thing about that?
Yeah.
Go for it, Paul.
I bet Norwood's got power.
Oh, you think it's...
Yeah, they do it all the time. When we haven't got power, every other flash suburb has power.
Hey, Paul, Woodville's a bit flat. You got all those trendy cafes on Queen Street now.
Not anymore, man.
But you, Paul.
Paul, look, you're always going to get a good run on the show bagging Norwood, as long as I've got anything to do with it.
1,021 premises without power as we speak. For Paul's information and others in the area, the estimated restoration time is 7:30 this morning. That said, I'm always suspicious of the estimated restoration time when the cause says to be investigated. So they don't know what's causing it yet, but there is 1,021 premises without power. Let's go to Seaford. Trevor, good morning.
G'day, good morning. This is the plush suburb, Glen Osmond. Glen Osmond Road, Portrush Road, Crossroads, the lights are out.
Okay. Glen Osmond Road, Portrush Road, it's quite a busy intersection, that one, Trev. Hopefully they get that one sorted out soon.
Yeah, that's upper crusty, all right?
Thank you, Trev.
You can go into the Pincho Deli just down Glen Osmond Road, pay a vast amount of money for a toasted sandwich.
Power and traffic brought to you by the Culture Wars this morning.
Yeah, I'll say. All these Marxists ringing in with traffic information.
Bernadette in Clovelly Park's called in. Bernadette, good morning to you.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks,
very
Bernadette.
well, thank you.
Just ringing regarding your queries with the Beta Birdwood regos. So any car, when it reaches 25 years of age, can be put onto what they call historic reg.
Ooh.
So to qualify, you need to be a member of a car club, and then you can register your car and drive it for 90 days a year.
So if there's no car club, you're going to struggle then? You're kind of a sort of
It's a condition. It's a condition the government put in that you need to be a member of a car club.
Yeah, right.
Qualify for the registration.
Because I reckon otherwise, Bernadette, there'd be so many people with beat up old vans that they use to just drive to the dump 5 times a year that'd be trying to say they're vintage cars.
And as long as it's legal, they can do it. There's no issues. And a lot of people they'll find a car club that's affordable and just join and never have any contact with the car club other than when they need to renew their membership
Yeah,
to
right.
renew their registration.
Do you still have to fill out a logbook every time you drive the car then, Bernadette?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you got
and
vintage cars, Bernadette?
Yes. Well, we've got classics.
Yeah, right.
We've got a
what sort of
71
stuff?
Monaro and a
Oh.
2001 that's not quite ready for Club Rego.
What sort of shape's the 71 Monaro, and is it all fully done up?
Pristine.
Oh, wow. Do you drive it?
Rarely. Hubby drives it. It's his baby.
Oh, they're such beautiful cars, aren't they? That's one of the original ones, isn't it? 71?
Oh, no, it's a later one.
Is
it's
it?
earlier. It's 60s. They've got the earlier models.
Oh, did they start in the 60s? I thought they were right at the start of the 70s.
That's good stuff, Bernadette. Thank you for that. Maxine's called in. Maxine, you're going in the Beta Birdwood, is that right?
Yes, my husband's entered the 65 Mustang.
Oh, really? Excellent car. Are you going to ride along with him, Maxine?
Yeah, yes, it's a bit strange sitting in the wrong side of the car, though. Left-hand drive, so
It must be hard
really
driving.
weird sitting in the right-hand side.
Yeah, it must be hard driving a car with left-hand steering in Australia. It must be disconcerting.
Well, you can't really overtake. You can't, because the driver's on the wrong side of the car, so he can't see past the car that he needs to overtake. So you really have to rely on the passenger to say,
Yeah,
you're right.
So teamwork. Good on you, Maxine. Thank you. We'll be talking more about the Beta Birdwood very shortly. Our Alberton correspondent Dave Lloyd's called in. Morning, Dave.
Yeah, morning, boys. The power went out at quarter time of the prelim final, and I don't know that anyone's done anything about it.
Oh, Dave. I thought you were going to have some sort of class-based observation about, people in Sky losing their power.
Dave did send through some good information too, actually, on because he's a vintage car lover himself. He says historic registration over 25 years old, must be a member of a club 90 days a year, as we just heard from Bernadette. It says for historic left-hand drive, street and individually constructed vehicles, they all fit under that banner as well. Thank you for that, Dave. 14 minutes to 7. Let's take a break. We're going to check traffic and come back with police and weather in just a moment. Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Yeah, Willie in Virginia got some roads closed thanks to a previous crash. Port Wakefield Road between McAvoy Road and Bevan Road with heavy delays backed up to the Northern Expressway and Anglevale Road. In Erbray, a car's got into a traffic light with traffic lights flashing yellow, Glen Osmond Road near Portrush Road. And in Woodville North, a blackout affecting the lights on Hanson Road near Ridley Grove and also outbound at 9th Avenue. Are your tyres electric? Hankook Iron, pioneer with Hankook Evolution technology, especially for electric cars and SUVs. Hankook Iron, official partner of Formula E. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into Automasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
The service advisor is there live doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
At Salvo's Home Care South Australia, we don't just provide care, we build a community centred around your comfort and well-being. Whether you need a hand at home or in the garden, help using your smartphone or assistance with getting to appointments, we've got you covered. Keep enjoying your favourite hobbies or discover new ones. Our services are as unique as you are. Talk to your local Salvo's Home Care experts today. 1300 111 227.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles Trade Plus Club members now get even more savings both in time and money every day of the year, including massive trade discounts on tiles, glues, grouts and tools, free 2-hour express delivery and supersized everyday discount on fuel at all Shell service stations, plus much more. So if you're a tiler looking to save money every week of the year, Rush into National Tiles now and save.
I booked the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, new from Automasters.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Eleven to 7. Let's talk about the weather today and over the next few days, as best as the Bureau can predict it, because it does seem to be a movable feast. Jenny Horvat is on deck this morning. Jenny, we've got temperatures in the 30s, it drops back to 20s. We've got maybe rain some days and not the next. Just take us through what we understand this morning for the rest of the week.
Yeah, look, it is a pretty dynamic system, so pretty unsettled conditions out there. We did see some thunderstorm activity yesterday and in the early hours of this morning, and we do have a trough moving across from the west. So those showers again possible today, and again chance of some thunderstorm activity across the metropolitan area again today. But with the nature of the system, it is a little bit hit and miss throughout the suburbs. I can't sort of guarantee that everybody's going to see showers today or everybody's going to see a thunderstorm. Probably more likely for those storms about the hills. But nevertheless, there is a risk throughout the metropolitan area for today. A quick look at some of the rainfall that we picked up since 9 a.m. yesterday up around the northeastern hills there. We did see falls of around 10 to 15 millimetres, and it was varied across the plains from sort of 0.2 to not at all up to 2 to 3 millimetres here in the city. We have picked up a 1.2 millimetres in the West Terrace Night Appear observation gauge. So yeah, it is a bit humid. We are looking at temperatures today of around 29 degrees for the city, 30 for the northern suburbs, 27 along the coast, 28 for Mount Barker. Was a little bit of a warm night as well. We saw that minimum temperature of 19.1 actually happen at 5 a.m, so pretty warm overnight, and currently 19.5. We are looking at warm conditions again tonight into tomorrow, so maybe a minimum of around 15 degrees, 28 on the forecast. We should be in for a reprieve with any sort of weather. Everything should have moved out to the east and will be in between systems on Wednesday, so we are looking at a dry and mostly sunny day there, but things getting a bit interesting again on Thursday. A complex low coming across from the west, so we are expecting those northerlies to be a little bit gusty ahead of that temperature potentially getting to around that 30 degrees, and as that trough comes closer, chance to see some showers develop, and again the chance of some thunderstorm activity on the Thursday. Current timing for that system is probably later in the day, so afternoon and evening, but a bit of a watch this space. Following that one, we'll move into that cooler, gustier southwesterly airstream. That temperature back down to 20 degrees on the Friday. Still some showers around, but as we head into the weekend, it should be drying up. Again, around 20 degrees on Saturday, but a sunny 25 on the forecast for Sunday at this stage, guys.
Good on you, Jenny. Thank you. Let's head to Sapole. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan's on the line. Jen, a fatal crash at Waterloo Corner.
Yes, unfortunately bad news to start the morning with, and it was just about 12:15 this morning. Emergency services were called to the intersection of Port Wakefield Highway and McAvoy Road at Waterloo Corner after reports a concrete truck and a Lexus sedan had collided. Now, sadly, the driver of the sedan, a 19-year-old woman from Buckland Park, she died at the scene. And the driver of the truck was taken to hospital where he's being treated for minor injuries and assisting police with the investigation. So the road has now reopened after major crash examined the scene, and sadly that woman's life is the 69th life lost this year.
Shocking news, Jen, particularly after the weekend we had. Also, police were pursuing a vehicle in Direct overnight, and a man has been arrested.
Yes, they were, and again, this was just about 12:15. Police spotted a Ford sedan travelling at speed with no number plates on Diamond Road, and they called Impala to assist from above, where the car will be alleged to have reached speeds of 160 k's in a 90 zone on Heapsley Road at Penfield. They also were seen to drive on the wrong side of the road several times. So it was tracked through the northern suburbs onto the Northern Expressway, where it collided with another vehicle on the exit ramp at Curtis Road, and the driver eventually stopped on Wiley Road at Lower Light, where he was arrested. He's a 20-year-old man from Torrens Park, and he's been charged with a raft of offences, including extreme speed, and he's going to go to Elizabeth Magistrates Court in November. And surprisingly, the car wasn't stolen, and he was just driving his own vehicle like a door handle.
Unbelievable.
Incredible. Thank you, Jen.
Do you like pronounce direct correctly? Is it direct?
Lucy's nodding her head.
Yeah, Luce knows that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Yes, direct. If you're from direct, give me a ring and tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Tell us your favourite fact about
direct. I don't know anything
South
about
Australia.
direct.
Tell you what, this weekend, on the basis of their listeners that have called in, a lot of them are going to be participating in this, or at very least watching along with interest. It's the Beta Birdwood taking place, leaving from Barrett Reserve at West Beach, 8:15am, heading for the National Motor Museum in Birdwood. 1,500 historic vehicles are expected to participate along the 67k route. It's been going since 1980 now, and it's an absolute institution in South Australia. Michael Neal is the chair of the Beta Birdwood and joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning to you and to your listeners. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for your continued support over the many years. It's been wonderful to have the support of 5AA.
It's a great event.
We love it, Michael.
Yeah.
It's labour of love, mate. It's a terrific event. And as Will said, I can't believe how long it's been going now. I've got a faint memory of when it started, when I was just about to start high school. It was a huge...
Well,
when it started, it really took off straight away, didn't it?
It did, and actually, I was actually on the side of the road for the very first Beta Birdwood as a school kid myself, and when I became chair, it was almost like, I couldn't believe my luck. It was a wonderful thing, and I think about this when it started in 1980. Vehicles were from 1950, so 30 years old. Today, we still the acceptable age is it's for vehicles 30 years old and older, which means some of the vehicles that qualify to be in the Beta Birdwood today weren't even thought of when the first Beta Birdwood was being run.
That's phenomenal. Some of them even significantly predate the Beta Birdwood itself, though, like a vehicle you've got that is 120 years old.
The Dion Buton. Yeah, it's a fantastic vehicle.
Is it going to make it 67 Ks, Michael?
Actually, it's done it several times. I know this vehicle and the owners, they're very, very committed. And actually, some of the old, those very old veteran cars, as long as they're not held up in traffic, are quite capable of doing the journey and doing it well. Some of them might be slow, and the Dion will be one of them that will be quite slow in the hills. But to some extent, so long as they get a clear run, they are pretty good vehicles, and they're what people love to see. And that's why we've got them going off first, so they get a clear run, and that's why people need to get on the side of the road, for that 8:15 start.
You've got some big names taking part in it too, Michael. I was very interested to read that our good friend, Her Excellency the Governor, Frances Adamson, she's going to be fanging away through the hills in the 1960 Dodge Phoenix. What about that?
Yeah, look, isn't that fantastic? I'm not sure. I think this might actually be the first time that a governor of South Australia has been able to find time to participate in the event. Her Excellency has been a fantastic supporter of the Beta Birdwood, and what a delight it will be to have Her Excellency in a vehicle actually doing the event, along with, as you rightly mentioned, a whole heap of other people like the Honourable Blair Boyer, who's the Minister for Education. He'll be in a 1926 Chrysler with his kids, I think. Even Dr. Richard Harris, who's a descendant of Sir Herbert Wilkins, the famous explorer. We've got him in the original Wilkins 1939 Chevy, the Woody, and that's actually a beautifully restored vehicle, restored by Dick Smith.
Wow, fantastic. Well, it's going to be terrific. 8:15 this Sunday.
Weather couldn't be better either.
Off.
25, light winds, sunny. Will be very nary a cloud in the sky, Michael. Enjoy it. It's going to be a terrific event. Have a wonderful day. Michael Neal, the chair of the Beta Birdwood. Barry's just called in quickly before 5AA News. Barry, good morning.
Boy,
Yes, you did pronounce it correctly, direct.
Direct. It is direct, isn't it, Barry?
Just past Salisbury.
Yeah, just past Salisbury.
And, we've had 5 mils of rain here this morning, which has been great.
You know, when I said I don't know anything about direct, and your name came up on the screen, Barry, and I immediately thought, that's the only way I know the name, from Barry from Direct, ringing the show. So it's very apt that you called in, mate.
Yes. Okay, mate. Have a good day.
You too, Baz. Good on you.
So Direct, originally named after a railway close to Salisbury, and a term referring to a wetland in the local Aboriginal language.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What about that?
It is 7 o'clock. It's 5AA News time. Wrap of the morning stories next, and some big ones. You're going to want to stick around.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers and a possible storm today, heading for 29. With the 7 o'clock news, good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
The Albanese government is hoping to ban debit card surcharges from 2026 as it tries to shift the conversation back to cost of living issues. Federal Politics editor Michael Packey.
The Prime Minister is campaigning in Queensland today as latest polls show voters are abandoning Labor. He'll announce $2 million will be given to the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission to monitor surcharges on debit cards as fewer people use cash to make purchases. There are growing concerns over fees the banks and other providers like Apple and Google charge consumers and small business to use their own money electronically. The ACCC will complement the work being done by the Reserve Bank on the payment system in the hope surcharges can be banned from January 2026.
A 19-year-old woman's died in a crash at Waterloo Corner this morning. Her car collided with a concrete truck at the intersection of Port Wakefield Highway and McAvoy Road. The driver of the truck was taken to hospital with minor injuries. He's assisting police with their investigations. The woman's death is the 69th life lost on our roads this year. Australians in Israel are being urged to leave as conflict escalates between the Jewish state and Hezbollah. The Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade has updated its travel advice, telling those in the region to leave while flights are available, and for anyone else not to travel to Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. Hezbollah's latest drone strike on Israel was its deadliest since Israel launched a ground incursion into Lebanon. The man arrested for possessing guns near a Donald Trump rally is claiming he's being politically persecuted. Police located a shotgun and loaded handgun during a search of the 49-year-old's vehicle in Southern California, believing they'd foiled a third assassination attempt on the former US president. But Ben Miller claims he's actually a Donald Trump supporter and is vowing to sue local police.
I hear this arresting officer call me a maggot and one of those dumb Trump people. This arresting officer's goal was to make an example of a Trump supporter, was to persecute a Trump supporter having nothing to do with the law.
David Spears is tipped to make his exit from state politics official today. The former SA Liberal leader is not expected to do it in person on North Terrace, opting instead to forward his resignation letter to Speaker Leon Bignell. That will set the wheels in motion for the by-election in his southern suburb seat of Black. David Spears stepped down from the Libs' top job in August. He'll front court next month, charged with supplying a controlled substance. The 39-year-old has vowed to clear his name of any allegations. More than a third of South Australian households struggled to put food on the table in the past year. Mel Usher says Foodbank and the RAA are teaming up to lend a helping hand.
35% of all SA households experienced food insecurity in the past year, according to Foodbank's latest hunger report. For single-parent households, it rises to 69%. Food insecurity can range from households reducing the quality or variety of their food to having their eating patterns disrupted due to financial pressure. This week, the RAA and Foodbank are holding their 5th annual food drive. South Australians can donate food items at participating RAA outlets or catch up with the mobile food hub. It will be at Woolworths in Mount Barker today, Newton Village Shopping Centre tomorrow, Marion on Thursday and in the mall on Friday.
The fire danger season has started early in some parts of the state. It began at midnight in selected areas including the Eastern Eyre, Flinders and Northeast and Northwest Pastoral districts due to the dry conditions. More districts will come online at the start of next month. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Time for sport, Tom Wren. More drama in the footy world.
Isn't there just? Port Adelaide has stunned Collingwood by pulling out of a potential three-way trade while threatening to deal with a rival club for Dan Houston. Geelong and the Western Bulldogs are expected to agree on a deal for Bailey Smith before tomorrow night's deadline. Trade analyst and former Essendon great Matthew Lloyd says Bulldogs Caleb Daniel and Jack McRae are still in limbo.
At this stage, it's still up in the air, the Caleb Daniel one, and Jack McRae. It's one of those ones that frustrates me. They have refused to play him. They've had him a sub, and yet once it's probably trade time, they go, he's a 2 all-time All-Australian, 3-time All-Australian. So I hope he gets to the Saints where he can play AFL footy like he should.
With 2 days left for the trade period, North Melbourne are at an impasse over Swans veteran Luke Parker. Deals are also yet to go through for Richmond trio Liam Baker, Shai Bolton, as well as Daniel Rioli. Well, the Socceroos will be hoping to continue their winning ways when they take on Japan in a crucial World Cup qualifying clash away from home tonight. They'll have to create history, though, as they've never beaten Japan in their home country. Meantime, there's a few minutes left to play in UEFA Nations League matches this morning. It's now France leading Belgium 2-1. Italy has dismantled Israel and leads 4-1, while Germany is 1-0 up against the Netherlands. And one game in the Cricket Women's T20 World Cup overnight, New Zealand advancing to the semi-finals after a 54-run win against Pakistan. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Good morning in Virginia. Some roads closed thanks to a previous crash. Port Wakefield Road between McAvoy Road and Bevan Road. Heavy delays backed up to the Northern Expressway and Angle Vale Road. Also this morning in Urbray, a car's got into a traffic light. Traffic lights are flashing yellow. Glen Osmond Road near Portrush Road. And in Woodville North, a blackout affecting the lights on Hanson Road near Ridley Grove and also outbound at 9th Avenue. Swap traffic jams for cruising plans with Flight Centre. Cruise the South Pacific with Carnival from just $929, plus onboard credit and more. Book now with Flight Centre. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A weather smorgasbord ahead. Showers and a possible storm today, 29. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 28. Thursday, showers, 30. Friday, showers and windy, 20. Currently, it's 19. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Over 50 and ready to dive into something amazing? This is for you. We're planning for your future with 2 new over 50s lifestyle resorts in Goola and Encounter Bay. With our vision for world-class facilities and endless activities, your next phase of life could deliver your best years yet with pools, gymnasiums, bowling greens and more. Visit our new display centre at 1 Banfield Road, Goolwa North, or check out lakesideresort.com.au or oceanviewresort.com.au.
Are the potatoes done?
30 seconds.
What about the desserts?
For over 12,000 South Australians, the most important meal of the day is from Meals on Wheels.
Hey, Amanda.
Hi, Roger. How are you? Behind the meals and behind the wheels are our wonderful volunteers.
Amanda, hello. Smells delicious.
Become a volunteer today and help us keep the wheels turning.
See you tomorrow, Chris.
Visit mealsonwheelssa.org.au for details.
An Australian study will be launched to test a new Novavax vaccine to join the ongoing battle against COVID and flu. The Adelaide investigation, led by Fusion Clinical Research, will involve people aged 65 and older, and Fusion is seeking volunteers to take part. The participants will need to be already vaccinated against COVID. You will be paid for your time. Interested? Go to fusiontrials.com.au or call 7077 6996.
I'll have an Edwardstown Mazda with a lot, thanks.
Absolutely. Drive on through.
Buy any new Mazda from Edwardstown Mazda and they'll turn it into a Mazda with the lot. Get 2 years free servicing, $500 of free accessories, a $500 car care voucher and 5 years roadside assistance on top of already reduced drive-away prices. Get your Mazda with the lot only at Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
It's gotta be.
T's and C's apply.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7:09. Good morning to you. You're joining us on this Tuesday, the 15th of October, for the very first time. If you felt like it was a warm night, well, you weren't wrong. 19.2 degrees was as cool as it got. That was about 5 a.m. this morning as well. It speaks to a change in the weather. Today's a significant day, the 15th of the October, for a significant number of the regions across South Australia. The fire danger season starts today in much of the state. So Eastern Eyre Peninsula, Flinders, Lower Eyre, Northeastern Pastoral, the Northwest Pastoral, the West Coast as well. All the fire danger season begins in those places today. So we get there fast. It comes in early now, and days like today, bit of a reminder why, certainly when the winds get around too, potentially very problematic. The other thing that's problematic, we have had power outages this morning. We've already got a significant incident on the freeway that sounds like it's posing some issues. Sam Daddo reporting on all that for us at the base of the freeway. Sam, good morning to you.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yes, I'm at the corner of Glen Osmond Road and as you head up to the freeway. If you jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, you'll see a bit of the chaos that's unfolding. A car hit a traffic light at around about 6:15 this morning at the entrance of the freeway. So if you're coming from Cross Road, heading over Glen Osmond to Portrush Road, it's the traffic light on your left that's been taken out by a car. So this has caused the lights at the intersection to go out, flashing amber. SAPOL officers are on the scene, so they are directing traffic. So the traffic is still flowing as reasonably as you can expect with them here, but it's still going to be causing a bit of chaos this morning. Another thing causing chaos today, well, as I drove in this morning around about 4:30, the wind was absolutely howling. The wind, though, seems to have calmed down on this neck of the woods, but it's been causing some trouble, as you said, around the suburbs. So in Woodville, a blackout is affecting lights at Hanson Road near Ridley Grove and outbound at 9th Avenue. So more suburbs affected in that area with the power outage at Angle Park, Ferryden Park, Mansfield Park, Woodville Gardens, Woodville North. Currently, 1,021 customers are affected, so SA Power Network crews are investigating the cause. The estimated restoration time for that blackout is around about 7:30, but as you said a bit earlier, Will, the fact that they're still investigating and not sure what the cause is means it could blow out a little bit longer. But from reporting from here at the bottom of the freeway, at the moment, seems to be flowing okay.
All right, good on you, Sam. That'll be a big one to watch this morning. Good to see the traffic police are out there. It is a significant intersection too. So.
And for those of you who aren't watching on the live stream, the traffic light lying completely on its side. What's the story with that? Somebody's
completely dislodged.
How do you drive into a traffic light? I wonder if it was some drunk.
Yeah, in the middle of the night with very little traffic on the road.
Yeah.
With how many lanes do you have there to negotiate too?
Yeah, like
it's not exactly
there's a lot of wiggle room.
You have to get it really wrong.
Back street and inner Western Sydney, this is a wide, well-made road.
There, that extraordinary pictures, Foodland Supermarkets, Facebook and YouTube live stream. Question for you, how many retail transactions, what percentage of retail transactions do you think are cash these days?
I would say less than 10%.
No, you're pretty right. So according to the Assistant Treasurer yesterday, it's 12%. So 12% of retail transactions are made using cash in Australia right now, which is what the government put on the agenda to highlight this ridiculous card surcharge rort that's been going on for too long now, where people are being charged an extra bit of money to access their own cash digitally. Now, a lot of people have pointed out, it seems remarkable that it's more expensive to access it digitally as opposed to actually using physical cash that requires, blokes in a giant van to turn up well-armed and drive around the state.
Getting a float, taking your money down to the bank at the end of the day, finding a bank that will still take money.
It sounds like, though, that whole thing now has potentially an expiration date. The federal government are preparing now to ban the practice by 2026. January 1, 2026. Subject to a review by the Reserve Bank of Australia at the moment that's been having a look at this. The Reserve Bank say we're losing nearly $1 billion in surcharges a year across the country. $1 billion that would otherwise...
What I don't understand, it's a staggering amount of money. Are you always charged a surcharge? And does it always appear on your transaction?
Well, yeah, there is a payment. Someone's paying for the infrastructure that connects that business and the bank and you.
Because when the show was on, when the Royal Show was on,
Yes.
people got really fired up because you bought a show bag for, $150 or whatever the damn things cost now. Okay, let's say $30. You bought the Gag Magic show bag, because everyone needs a whoopee cushion, for $30, and they said it's $30 and 27 cents or something. And everyone was getting hit on the spot. But when you go back, and I'm looking now on my bank app, just looking at recent purchases I've made. What have we got here? Aldinga Timber, $60.50. SA Landscape Supplies for all your Fluorio 14mm rock needs, $635. That was a big one. Homegrown Bakery, $50. Okay, so here's one. Homegrown Bakery Aldinga, $50.12. Now, there's nothing there. There's nothing at the Homegrown Bakery that has 12 cents.
That's probably a surcharge.
Yeah. But what about, the other ones? Is there a surcharge in them for buying?
It's
for
not
buying
uniform.
rocks and gravel.
One of the interesting that's come out in the RBA analysis of this, it's not uniform. So there are different, like there is with anything, there's different companies that charge different rates for making all that transaction happen, and some of them have incentives. And this is where it gets a bit murky, because I think we've always all thought of small businesses as a victim of this. They have to pass it on. They don't want to. They're not getting the money. But some businesses were offering a Qantas point system. You sign up with us, and yes, your customer's going to slug 1.7% as opposed to 0.5 or whatever it might well be, but you'll get Qantas points. So there's this whole business model that none of us really understand that the RBA is having a look at, and the federal government wants to dismantle. So the key takeaway is this: it'll be gone January 1, 2026 if the federal government get their way.
Well, it just seems to be a cheating thing at the moment, where you're applying a surcharge on something that is now completely routine. Yes. It would be like if you wanted to buy a carton of milk and they said, well, actually, the milk is $3.50 for a litre, but there's also a milk buying surcharge, which will make it $3.62. Why? I'm just buying the milk.
Yeah, it'll be $1 billion back in the pockets of Australians.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is some good news.
She's just a devil woman with evil on her mind.
Big morning for music, actually, and announcements of people coming to Adelaide. Cliff Richard last night announced he's going to be at the Entertainment Centre Tuesday, 4th of November. Next year will be 12 years since he's been in Australia, Cliff Richard. How about this? Remains the only artist to achieve UK top 5 albums over 8 consecutive decades.
That's incredible. 8?
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
He's like the Ralph Sewer of easy listening.
Yeah. Can it be 8? Starting in the 60s.
Well, he's 80. Yeah, of course it can. Because he's 85.
80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, 2020s. That's 7. So do you ever hits in the 50s?
Oh, no, we're in trouble. He Will's got his fingers out. We're doing some live counting here. So in 1995, the Tizer had this exchange thing with a newspaper in Indonesia, and I got sent there for 3 months to Jakarta to this paper called Media Indonesia. Became mates with this photographer called Inyo. He was a maniac. He used to wear these flak jackets like he was, working on the Gaza Strip with all these different, a bit like Dennis Hopper's character in Apocalypse Now. And he rang me one Sunday and he said, "Oh, Dave," he said, "I've got this job at the airport. I've got to go and meet some singer, and none of us know who he is." And I said, what do you think his name is? He said, Cliff Richie. I went, Cliff Richard? Yeah, that's him. He said, "Can you come to the airport with me?" And we're at the airport. We spent the whole day at the airport, the Soekarno-Hatta Airport in Jakarta, just waiting in like the business class lounge. And sure enough, Cliff Richard walks out. And there was like this little press pack. And we didn't know. Everyone had been paid by this Chinese property tycoon who was building this suite of apartments called Kota Leyenda, which means Legend City. And they'd paid Cliff Richard a bomb because this old Chinese guy, his favourite song was Living Doll. So he flew Cliff Richard from London to Jakarta to sing Living Doll at the launch of this.
Some people have too much money.
Yeah. And so anyway, Cliff Richard's off the plane, and I'm wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, hungover on a Sunday with my mate Inyo, and I go up to him holding a notepad. "Mr. Richard, it's David Penworthy from Media Indonesia." And he looks at me and he goes, "I'm extremely tired." And I went, "Look, I just need a couple of lines, mate, for this promotion piece for Kota Leyenda. And he goes, oh. Then he looks at me, he's really puzzled. He goes, you're Australian. I went, yeah, I am. And I said, so Mr. Richard, I understand you're attracted to the Kota Leyenda project because of its environmental credentials. And then he gets into character and he's like, well, actually, yes, David, I'm a big environmentalist. I'm worried about the climate and the planet and the shape that we're in. I've sent inside the $1 million rupiah he pocketed for singing Living Doll. But it's one of those weird moments in life where you're just thinking, did that even just happen? I just met Cliff Richard in an airport in Jakarta.
Apologies to Cliff Richard too. His first album, Cliff, was released in April 1959. Came fourth in the UK album chart, so 8 consecutive decades
Incredible.
that he's had a top 5 album, which is just, as you say, unbelievable. Now, he's not the only one coming. Touring Australia, a farewell tour starting next year. She's going to be here Thursday the 10th of April at the Entertainment Centre. April 2025, Entertainment Centre, Cyndi Lauper and Cliff Richard both coming to Adelaide next year, which is just terrific news. 2
great performers.
So certainly are. Let's check traffic thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Yeah, Will, as you've heard, that serious crash in Virginia, got some road closures in place. Port Wakefield Road between McAvoy Road and Bevan Road. Heavy delays backed up to the Northern Expressway and Anglevale Road. In Irbrae, cars got into a traffic light with lights flashing yellow, Glen Osmond Road near Portrush Road. And in Woodville North, a blackout affecting the lights on Hanson Road near Ridley Grove and also outbound at 9th Avenue. Experience the entire Mini range at Glenelg Mini Garage, Adelaide's independent family-owned Mini dealership. Experience excellence at Glenelg Mini Garage. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
We wake up some mornings and hear this news where someone has been arrested doing something stupid in a car, but even stupider the fact that a young child is in the car with an irresponsible driver. There are calls now for tougher penalties. Frank Pangello's behind the push.
The laws will have a range of aggravated offences.
Matthew Pantelis.
Up to 3 years in jail.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
When you're gone, who gets the things most precious to you? Like your highly valued comic book collection or your 1976 Tirana in mint condition. If you don't have a will, you'll never know. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning. From the simplest to the most complex, Donlan Lawyers will give effect to your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now I know a great team when I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. The Shipway team are the best in the business. They've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
Summer's on the way. Beat the rush and organise your Walco pool blanket now. Keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings with a Walco pool blanket. Visit walco.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 after 7. If you want to play What Cheese Am I and get along to Cheese Fest, get calling now. 8223 0000 is the number. Lucy stands ready to take your call. And don't despair. If you're not the first person through, there's always the chance they get it wrong. And you can swoop in and seize the cheese.
Seize the cheese. Carpe cheese.
Carpe Chiem. 82230000 is the number. Get calling now. We should do some Dutton's texts in the meantime.
I tell you what, people are fired up about these credit card surcharges. They know a con when they see one. I like this. I didn't know this. From Phil. He says, remember the billionaire who was the first civilian on SpaceX this year? How did Jared Isaacman make his money? He's the founder of Shift 4 Payments. He makes his money from electronic transactions,
well,
said.
There you go.
Graham says you'd think the credit card companies would make enough money from the interest rates they charge without the surcharge.
Yeah, but they're not the ones that are... It's a different entity that is in between.
Few people talking about Tick Attack, and also, particularly in light of last night's Four Corners, Jim in Golden Grove talking about surcharges. What's the detail on the story about Live Nation and Ticketmaster charging on concert tickets? The levies are extraordinary when you buy concert tickets. Yeah, I reckon concert tickets have become one of those things. It's like buying jewellery at Tiffany's. You know, it's almost like, you know, the deal is, you know, this is going to hurt. You know, if you reckon you're going to go and see Taylor Swift, get ready to shake your money maker.
Good question though. Why they can't just be entirely transaction fees?
No,
because the numbers sit higher than 1.7% or whatever, 1.5%.
Yeah, it's just a rip-off.
So yeah,
nothing other than a rip-off, and the bands don't get anything. See, Bad Dreams, the Adelaide band, they were on Four Corners last night. They got $9,000 out of a gig that made $100,000. $9,000.
That's crazy. The Dutton's text line, Dutton's car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. Dutton's, they're easy to do business with. If you want to get along to Cheese Fest, get calling now. 82230000. We'll play a little game of what cheese am I first. Let's have a listen back to the sports show last night. Great chat with Pat Rafter, who was on the show. 2025 Sports Australia Hall of Fame Scholarship Program mentor. Here's Rowie asking him who the greatest tennis player of all time is.
Rafa just retired. Of the big three, Rafa, Roger Federer and Djokovic. Pick one. Paddy.
Oh, no, Djokovic is. I mean, he's the reason I say that is he's obviously won more slams, but the win-loss record, he's got the best win-loss record against them as well. So you have to put it in that category, I think. But we looked at three of the greatest players of all time come through together. Now you can look at who's a better bloke or, you know, who's a better athlete or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, if you had to give it to someone, I would say Djokovic.
Okay. I thought I would have swore you would have picked Roger Federer.
Yeah, he's my man.
Up at the net,
yeah, I know.
Grass.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Roger Federer fan, but you're talking about the greatest of all time.
Okay.
You know, I think you got to go with Joker.
It was a great chat last night. Remember, too, you can always listen back to the great conversations on the Sports Show, or indeed that we have on 5AA Breakfast via the podcast as well, if you do miss anything over the course of the show.
Like this text from Jackie. She says, morning, boys. The best version of Cliff Richard's Living Doll was with the young ones. Absolutely. How good was that?
That's a great text.
And Rob talking about Cindy Lauper doing her farewell tour. Says, lift your game, Cindy. You're only 71. Too early for a farewell tour. You got a way to go to catch Sir Cliff, you young whippersnapper.
So what's Cliff Richard, 84, 83?
85, I think. I think I read yesterday's 85.
Yeah, so she got 14 more years. Well, mind you, the way farewell tours work in the world of music, this might be the start of it, and it might go for 14 years.
Well, the Rolling Stones are all in their 80s now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Mick's 80. He's 82? 83. 2 years younger than John Howard. They share a birthday. That's how I always remember that.
5AA News Time. We'll be back in a moment with Phil Curry over in Canberra.
Go Vita, your local health food shops. Over 30 years health and wellness experience and over 300 natural health practitioners specialising in you.
Hi, I'm Sue from Go Vita Semaphore. Need a good night's sleep? Fusion Sleep contains passion flower, traditionally used to relieve sleeplessness and reduce the time it takes to fall asleep. 60 tabs now, $31.75. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Go Vita, Colonnades, Fairview Green, Marion, Mount Barker, Manopara, Semaphore and Tanunda.
Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier with spectacular savings on selected Smeg cooktops. Save up to $1,000. You'll also save up to $2,000 on Victoria and Portofino cookers, plus 10% off matching range hoods. With offers this good, some terms, conditions and exclusions apply. From the kitchen to the laundry, Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier. Call into 155 Paynham Road, St Peters and look at their stunning designer appliance gallery, or visit adelaideappliancegallery.com.au.
The business sector has had incredible advances in AI. One solution can show you how AI can streamline your business, introducing efficiencies you never thought possible. you'll save money and time, unlock new growth avenues, and you'll be keeping up with the rest of the business community. With AI and One Solution, you can innovate, optimize, and excel across every facet of your business. One Solution will show you how. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Now let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens.
Boy, that's a cookie jar.
Oh, busted. My mistake. Let's see. Here it is. Here's one from Renette, an interior designer at Buy Urban for over 20 years. Renette swears to ensure your dream bathroom becomes a wonderful reality. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Wouldn't mind a cookie.
I'll have an Edwardstown Mazda with a lot, thanks.
Absolutely. Drive on through.
Buy any new Mazda from Edwardstown Mazda and they'll turn it into a Mazda with the lot. Get 2 years free servicing, $500 of free accessories, a $500 car care voucher and 5 years roadside assistance on top of already reduced drive-away prices. Get your Mazda with the lot only at Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
It's gotta be.
T's and C's apply.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers and a possible storm today, heading for 29. With the 7:30 news, I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
Major crash investigators are investigating a fatal accident at Waterloo Corner this morning. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says it happened on Port Wakefield Highway just after midnight.
A concrete truck and a Lexus sedan had collided. Now, sadly, the driver of the sedan, a 19-year-old woman from Buckland Park, she died at the scene. And the driver of the truck was taken to hospital where he's being treated for minor injuries and assisting police with the investigation. And sadly, that woman's life is the 69th life lost this year.
And there was another accident on Port Wakefield Highway involving a truck this morning. It hit a pedestrian at the intersection of Richardson Road at Lower Light. The 29-year-old woman from Osborne was taken to hospital with critical injuries. The driver of the truck, a 38-year-old man, was uninjured and taken to hospital for mandatory testing. The federal government is considering a ban on debit card surcharges, which would save Australians more than $4 billion a year. There is growing concern about the fees consumers are paying to use their own money electronically. Chamber of Commerce and Industry Chief Executive Andrew McKellar has told Today he's backing Labor's plan to stamp out the tax by 2026.
I think it'll be good for consumers and it'll be good for small business. We just want to ensure that these sorts of fees or surcharges, that they are transparent when they're being applied. They should be fair and business shouldn't be expected to pay an undue amount.
The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission will be given extra funding to complement work already underway by the Reserve Bank, which is looking into the payment system. The Greens have called on the state government to drop Santos as a Tour Down Under sponsor if they're serious about wanting the COP31 climate summit in Adelaide. Greens MP Tammy Frank says SA has to walk the talk by dropping Santos, a fossil fuel company, as an event sponsor. However, a government spokesman said the reason South Australia was leading the country in renewables was because the state uses gas. The Prime Minister believes he will lead Labor to majority government at the next election. The opposition has opened up a 2 percentage point lead in the latest news poll. Analysts say a hung parliament is increasingly likely after the election, which is due next year. But Anthony Albanese says he's confident that won't be the case.
I'm very focused on continuing to lead a majority government. My government has a record that we're very proud of, a record that's cut inflation in half, whilst creating almost 1 million jobs, whilst providing cost of living relief.
Tens of thousands of potential blood donations are going to waste. Those living with high iron levels are required to remove blood once every 2 to 3 months. But up to 73,000 bags of blood are being discarded at GPs and pathology centres each year. Lifeblood Research Director David Irving says those patients should consider donating instead.
Lack of education, I think, is probably one of the key issues. About 40% of those people didn't know that their blood could be used essentially to help other people.
It's Anti-Poverty Week. 35% of all SA households experienced food insecurity in the past year, according to Foodbank's latest hunger report. Foodbank and RAA are holding their 5th annual food drive this week. The mobile food hub will be at Woolworths in Mount Barker today, Newton Village Shopping Centre tomorrow, Marion on Thursday and in Rundle Mall on Friday. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. With just 2 days left of the AFL's trade period, Dan Houston, he's still in limbo after a blockbuster 3-team move was sensationally snubbed by the Power. Houston was on the verge of becoming a Collingwood player. Carlton and North Melbourne, though, are still also vying for him. Well, Tony Popovich's Socceroos are preparing to break a 15-year losing streak against Japan tonight. In the 9 meetings between the teams since 2009, the Aussies have managed only 3 draws, suffering losses on the 6 other occasions. Defender Kai Rao says they're riding high, fresh after their win against China.
The mood in the camp's good, positive obviously after Thursday night, and we're just looking to build on things and hopefully put in another good performance, and biggest thing is try and win the game.
Meantime, it's full-time in UEFA Nations League matches this morning. France beating Belgium 2-1. Italy got over Israel 4-1, while Germany won 1-0 against the Netherlands. Well, baseball's playoffs are on again this morning in the US, and the New York Mets are on track to respond in their best-of-7 National League Conference Series against the highly fancied LA Dodgers. After losing Game 1, the Mets have literally come out swinging Mark Vientos with a grand slam to put his side in a commanding spot.
Cracked to right center field. Pajes on the move to the track. He couldn't find it. That's because it's over the wall. Grand slam, Vientos.
Yeah, audio there thanks to ESPN. The Mets currently leading 6-0 at the top of the 3rd inning. The Cleveland Indians will take on the New York Yankees in Game 1 of the American League Conference Series. That's a little bit later this morning, our time. Gotta love the playoffs, Graham. That is the 5AA Sport.
Good on you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
And good morning. Yeah, roads closed thanks to that serious crash earlier this morning in Virginia. Port Wakefield Road between McAvoy Road and Bevan Road. Heavy delays backed up to the Northern Expressway and Anglevale Road. In Erbray, a car's got into a traffic light. Lights are flashing yellow. Glen Osmond Road near Port Rush Road. In O'Halloran Hill, a breakdown. Southern Expressway near Majors Road. And in Woodville North, a blackout affecting the lights on Hanson Road near Ridley Grove and also outbound at 9th Avenue. Truckloads of new stock have just arrived at the Harvey Norman clearance stores, Marion and Jebbs Cross. Run-out furniture, bedding, outdoor and more, price to clear. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Another 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Heading for 29 today with showers and a possible storm. Tomorrow mostly sunny, 28. Thursday showers, 30. And Friday showers and windy and 20. Currently it's 20 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 to 8. Got to put the conduct of our state premiers to a jury test before 8 o'clock this morning. If you'd like to be part of the jury, just have 8223 plugged into your phone. That's coming up a little bit later this half hour. We're going to be chatting with Bob Starkey from the Skyhooks after 8 o'clock. Big breaking at 8 as well today that I think is going to interest you. And we're continuing to cast our eye over the couple of the issues that are developing this morning. That crash at the freeway that's required a police traffic personnel on the scene to make sure things are flowing pretty well. Sounds like they're doing a pretty good job, unless someone wants to text in and tell us otherwise. But so far, so good at the bottom of the freeway. On the power outage front, there's still a big outage in the city. About 1,000 people without power in that area around Woodville. Now, originally, the estimated restoration time was 7:30. We said, given that the cause was to be investigated, that may well be ambitious. It's 7:38. The power is still out there, and now the estimated restoration time is to be advised. That's concerning. So if you're in Angle Park, Ferryden Park, Mansfield Park, Woodville Gardens, or Woodville North, you're in that biggest pocket without power this morning. About over 1,000 homes and businesses in that category. There's another one that's to the north of the city as well. So that in the Kilburn Prospect area, there's a couple of hundred premises without power at the moment for what looks like a couple of different issues, but they too to be investigated. So, as Sam Datto said, a bit windy out there this morning, and perhaps that's causing some havoc.
We're also hearing from a few of our listeners. Todd says he's on the Southern Expressway, and there seem to be delays happening from the Ranella interchange with cars banking up towards Lonsdale.
Appreciate the text. Dutton's car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. Dutton's, easy to do business with. Let's head to Canberra. Phil Curry from the Australian Financial Review joins us. Morning to you, Phil.
Morning, Will. Dave.
So, Phil, politicians always habitually say, oh, look, the only poll that matters is the one on polling day. But Albo has also said a few times in the past, he's noted in passing that Labor has never lost a two-party preferred news poll while he's been Prime Minister. Well, that actually happened this week, didn't it? Can we read much into that?
Oh, look, it's been, the news poll has been the sort of longest poll, the running poll, when it's sort of the one, that everyone sort of talks about more than anything else, even though I reckon ours is better. But look, it's a psychological thing, Dave. Whether it's 50-50 or 51-49 in the polls, they have a margin of error of 2 or 3%, which means the numbers can actually be +2 or -2 of that. So it's in statistical terms, it's not really a meaningful thing. In psychological terms, it is significant. The one we do at the AFR, what's called the freshwater poll, we do it every month, and back in August, which was 2 polls ago, we had 51-49 to the coalition, and that was the first time the coalition had led since the election, and then last month we had the coalition at 52. So, and Newspoll have been sitting at 50, so they just moved in this last poll. So, in short, they're all saying the same thing. It's around 50-50 or thereabouts. But the psychological impact of actually being behind can really dampen morale. And as you said, leaders often foolishly measure themselves against the news poll. You might remember when Malcolm Turnbull moved against Tony Abbott for the leadership back in 2015. He cited as justification that we've been behind now for 20 news polls in a row. So it came to the point where Turnbull lost his 20th news poll, and that really killed his leadership. Everyone, hey, remember that? You said that was a reason to get rid of Abbott. So when this government, they've had a rough time in terms of, they've endured like 12 interest rate rises under their watch and an inflation spike. So the Prime Minister used to also say, given all that, we're doing pretty well. We still haven't lost a news poll, and I think he used to give that defence only a few months ago. But now he can no longer say it. He wasn't as reckless as Turnbull and sort of saying, once we lose, I'll go. But
totally.
Yeah, it all plays into the dark mood. Yeah.
Don't you reckon, Phil? We were saying yesterday or the day before, I reckon it's a mug's game trying to predict what's going to happen at the next election. Like, it doesn't seem to matter, even if it's 52-48, or maybe that's getting out a bit. But
no.
How's it going to play out? You got Teals, you got Green inner city seats.
Look, as we sort of say repeatedly, Dave, if the election was held today, you'd sort of pretty much put your house on the fact there'd be a hung parliament. Labor's goes in with 78 seats, the Libs coalition goes in with 58, and you need 76 to govern in your own right. So as it stands, Labor would fall beneath 76 based on the current numbers. When we did the 52-48 poll, even if the Liberals got 52, that wouldn't give them the 18 seats that they would need. That might push Dutton into a position where he might be able to negotiate minority government as well. Like you have a repeat of what happened in 2013. We had both sides sort of negotiating with crossbenchers.
We're hoping Rebecca Sharkey gets the balance of power, and that we get fast rail from Aldgate to North Terrace and things like that.
They might build a cable car from Stirling to Glenelg Beach, mate. That look good. Like the Swiss Alps,
Mount Barker Road's going to look like the Champs-Élysées within 3 years' time.
Exactly. I can see it now.
That's true. That's what happens. I mean, look at the way Oakeshott and Windsor just squeezed.
That's
Gillard.
True. The only thing is, if it was a hung parliament, you'd still have the crossbench at the moment is 17, right? So it wouldn't be that big. Yeah, it will come down by a few, but it depends on the size of the minorities. Like if Albanese, say, he's down to 73. He only needs 3 of those crossbenches, so you don't need to go to all of them. And unfortunately or otherwise, his first port of call would always have to be the Greens because they would still control the Senate. So there's no point, offering Rebecca Sharkey a cable car to Glenelg Beach if the Greens are going to oppose you in the Senate because she can't help you up there. So as you said, it's very difficult. There's a lot of permutations. I still think there's a chance people might think actually, I don't want a hung parliament. They might give Labor a second go. go. Dutton's at that stage where he's done very well in holding the government's feet to the fire, but I don't think he's yet to take that step to attract people, in his own right. So these next few months are going to be very, very important in that regard.
And we're going to get interest rate cuts in the early part of next year, we'd imagine, too.
That's the sort of big one. That's the big unknown. That could change everything. As I said, they're like farmers waiting for rain. Waiting for one of those. There's a slight chance, according to the experts, of one in February, and that would, I think, probably benefit the government a lot. You'd have to think.
Good stuff, Phil.
On you, Phil.
All right, fellas.
Catch up soon.
Okay.
Phil Curry, the political editor of the Australian Financial Review.
16 minutes to...
Terry's reminded me. Terry, he's got a memory like an elephant, Terry. He said, Pembo, you've already put your house on elbow being a one-term PM. Did I say that? Sounds like something I might say. I don't know.
It feels it's got your sort of rhetorical flourish to it.
Might have been early in the show when I'm still technically not awake. No, I reckon I said it, Terry.
Yeah.
Let's have $20 on it, mate.
Well, look,
I'll meet you after
polling,
the election. I'll meet you at the Lockleys Hotel and I'll buy you a beer if I'm wrong.
You're more right than you were 2 weeks ago, if that sort of news poll is accurate. Monarchists in Australia are up in arms this morning. They're up in arms because the state premiers, of which there are 6, none of them are going to a reception in Canberra to meet the King. They're all busy. They've all got something else on. This is the official reception to welcome him to the country. And you'd think him, and then the head of state of this country, that premiers, who are ultimately answerable to the head of state, would turn up. None of them have turned up. All 6 are gone. Bev MacArthur of the Australian Monarchist League says, I find it insulting. They should take off their Republican hats, make the short trip to Canberra, say hi, and thank you for coming to Australia. For the jury this morning after the break, we're asking you this. The premiers not turning up to greet the King, are they right or are they rude? 82230000 is the number. Are they right to not turn up and greet the King, or are they rude? Get calling now.
Sue from Henley is very much in the rude camp. She says, Premier's not meeting with the King is a disgrace. Malley races to chat with Katy Perry, but the crown to which he has sworn allegiance to is disregarded. It's embarrassing.
Well,
so I saw this kid. He looks like he's 18 years old, and he's in the eastern states. He's a spokesman for the Monarchists League over there. Imagine your son being 18 and coming home and saying, Dad, I've just been voted in as chairman of the Monarchist League. I reckon I'll put him up for adoption. He should be out, binge drinking and fornicating at that age.
You were just saying, speaking of the early part of the program this morning, you said every time Craig Foster speaks, you want to join the Monarchist League.
There you go. So. I'm an enigma. I'm a total Republican. I just can't cop all the trendy sort of Balmain Republican mafiosi. I mean, that's why the yes vote tanked in the year 2000. They had all these, those ads with Gough Whitlam and Turnbull together. And Fraser rather together. Most people think back to that era and link it to, grotesque financial mismanagement.
Right or rude, the Premier's not meeting the King. The jury is assembling. Plenty of space for you if you want to call in now, 82230000. We'll get the verdict after the break. Traffic first, thanks to Liverhouse, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Yeah, well, thanks for that serious crash earlier this morning. Roads closed in Virginia. Port Wakefield Road between McAvoy Road and Bevan Road. Heavy delays backed up to the Northern Expressway and Anglevale Road. Got 2 separate breakdowns in Angle Park at the moment. North-South Motorway near Grand Junction Road and a breakdown in O'Halloran Hills, Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Lights flashing yellow in Urbray, Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway, and blackout affecting lights in Greenfields, Port Wakefield Road near Salisbury Highway, and Woodville North, Hanson Road near Ridley Grove, and outbound at 9th Avenue. Power up Android with Telstra and save on the latest Android devices with Australia's best mobile network. Talk to your local Telstra team today or go online to find out more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Right now, there's never been a better time to buy a new forklift from Toyota Material Handling. Choose from Toyota's massive range, famous for legendary reliability and safety. Plus, enjoy a low finance rate from just 2.9% on Toyota's 8 FBRE Reach forklifts and SWE 120S walkie stackers currently in stock. Hurry, limited time only. See the Toyota forklifts range at toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift. Approved business applicants only. Terms, conditions, fees and charges apply. Maximum term is 48 months. Offer ends 28 Feb 2025.
Gone are the days of bulky solar panels. NRG Solar is ushering in a new era of sleek, efficient solar technology. With just a few panels, harness the power of the sun like never before. The equation is simple.
more efficiency, more savings. Join the revolution with NRG Solar. Discover simplicity at 1275 South Road St Mary's or online at nrgsolar.com.au. NRG Solar, for a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
Now, the Phil Hoffman Travel Expo is back this Sunday at the Adelaide Convention Centre.
It's the biggest and best travel event in Adelaide, hosted by Adelaide, with over 60 worldwide airlines, tour operators, cruise lines, tourism boards and independent travel operators.
Experience the Phil Hoffman difference with travel talks running all day, exclusive early bird deals, discounts, one-day only deals and booking bonuses, including a glass of French champagne and macarons in the departure lounge.
Plus the chance to win travel prizes, including an 8-day luxury Mekong River cruise with APT, an 8-day Viking Mediterranean Ocean voyage, a 3-day Uluru experience with Jessica Malboy, and Imagine Holidays and more.
That's right. Don't miss the Phil Hoffman Travel Expo this Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m, Adelaide Convention Centre. Entries free. Register at pht.com.au.
It all started with a pen and paper 35 years ago. Lots of ideas and a ton of innovation. Nothing's changed. Beechwood Homes is still building stunning bespoke homes right across South Australia. Under construction right now is another Beechwood Homes masterpiece at Blackwood Park. This new display home will showcase Beechwood's dedication to cutting-edge design, craftsmanship and innovation. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Give your mouth a little harmony with Henry Bloom's probiotic mouthwash. Formulated with Dental Lac, a probiotic strain that harmonises the delicate pH of your mouth and promotes beneficial bacteria. Available at all major pharmacies.
Always read the label and follow directions for use. 5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
9 to 8, this is going to be a hot jury, I can just tell already. It's assembled. There's always space, infinite space on the jury. 8223 Premier's not meeting the king. Rude or right? Before we get there, though, in the world of real estate meets federal politics, David.
What about this? Someone's avoided the housing crisis. Anthony Albanese has just spent $4.3 million on a clifftop home on New South Wales Central Coast. This is a place called Copacabana, which is absolutely beautiful. It's only about probably 90 minutes drive from Sydney. But I'm looking at the photograph of the house. My God, it is stunning. It's a white 2-bedroom home with 2 balconies, manicured gardens, beautiful views, unobstructed ocean views, looking out to sea, obviously, because that's where the ocean is. But 4.3 million, that is a heck of a lot of dough. I mean, not in Sydney. Does that sort of scream, I'm in it for the long haul?
What, the seaside retreat?
Well, I mean, I suppose he's of the age where he's got to think about retiring, I guess, because he's 60. Is he 60, are we? I think he is. He's just 60, if he is 60.
61.
He's 61. But yeah, let's remember, 64 was the arbitrary age at which John Howe was meant to make up his mind about whether he was sticking around or not. I don't know, maybe he just read Newsbowl this week and thought,
time to invest in a retirement plan.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
The King's visit to Australia begins on Friday. It will include a reception in Canberra. There'll be 6 notable absentees. The state premiers, New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, WA, South Australia and Tassie, have all got other things on.
Probably a good thing Stephen Miles, the Queensland premier, is not going, because he'd probably forget his name. How Matt did him last week for the Minor 10 spin of the week, for forgetting a candidate's name. He forgot another candidate's name. He's forgotten 2 of his candidates now.
He's in a bit of trouble in that election.
He's halfway, that guy.
All right, let's get the verdict. The state premier is not turning up to greet the king. Right or rude? Juror number 1, what say you?
First things first, let's not call 61 old for starters.
I apologise.
Very good, juror number 1.
Look, I think they've probably got premier stuff to do, like, count votes or something. But at the end of the day, Isn't he only going to one or two states?
Correct.
Let's face it. Look, would you be hopping on a plane from WA, flying all the way to Canberra to see a donoried old man and woman that don't even know who you are anyway?
All right, thanks. It's a vote for right for juror number 1. Juror number 2, what do you say?
I think it's an absolute disgrace. Clear your calendar, I'm going to get live golf. Clear my calendar, I'm going to get gather round. Don't clear my calendar, I don't want to go and meet the king. I think it's an absolute disgrace.
Thank you, juror number 2. I knew this was going to be a good jury. Juror number 3, good morning.
Good morning. Rude. And David and Will, Albanese, 4.1 million when we've got people homeless?
Well, not him.
No. And David, you did say he'll be a one-term Prime Minister. God, I hope you're right.
Thank you, juror number 3.
Well, I've been wrong before.
Juror number 4, good morning.
I'll be wrong again.
Good morning. Very poor form on the part of the premiers. Apart from their personal views, they are meant to be representing their constituents, and a majority of them, I'm sure, will think it's downright rude.
Thank you, juror number 4. Juror number 5, good morning.
G'day, fellas. Right. He's our king. He should be coming to every state in Australia, not just picking out Sydney as everybody else does and go to Canberra. So why should we go and see him if he doesn't want to make the effort to see us?
That's a good argument.
Thank you, juror number 5.
It's a reverse snub. We've snubbed him because he snubbed us.
Juror number 6, good morning.
Good morning. Exceptionally rude, and if only the Republicans would realise that it's going to cost the taxpayer a fortune if we do become a republic.
Thank you, juror number 6. And juror number 7, good morning.
Rude and wrong, and get real, politicians.
Thank you, juror number 7. So I think, what was it, by a vote of 5-2, Rude won out on the jury.
5-2. And if we do become a republic, we have to take the king's head off all the coins and put our first president, Eddie Maguire's head on the back instead, don't we? So that'll cost a bit of money.
Will they all go and visit Eddie?
I'd like to go and visit Eddie.
Eddie would actually be pretty funny. Imagine an international dispute. The problem is, I fear with Eddie's, well, we love Eddie, but I don't know how long until we're at war with China if Eddie's there to stay. I just fear one day Eddie will be asked a question about, freedom of navigation in the Taiwan Straits, and he might just shoot from the hip.
He might just say exactly what's on his mind.
But
that's the great thing about him, and you can have massive arguments with him, and he doesn't care.
No, Eddie,
like he's just
Eddie's brilliant.
Dusts himself off, in he comes. That was hey, we've still got cheese to give away, folks.
Yes, we do.
I got my cheese questions ready. I go to all the trouble of writing questions. I think the least someone can do is enter the damn competition.
The challenge has been set. If you want to win tickets to Cheese Fest,
really
call in right now, because David's upset that nobody's called.
I'm getting a persecution complex.
8223 We'll play it after 8 o'clock.
I was up all night doing these questions.
Great jury. We're sending 3 of our jurors off to Chihuly in the Botanic Gardens. Jurors
Chihuly.
7, 6 and 5. Jurors 7, 6 and 5, you're off to...
Is that glass sculpture thing?
That's yes, in the Botanic
Gardens.
Gardens.
Really good.
You're all heading off, 7, 6 and 5. Congratulations to you. The Duttons text slide is an extension of the jury at the moment. It's going to take a little while to sort through, I suspect. Do you want to play What Cheese Am I Now, Lucy? All right, well, Gail has called in.
This is a good
Let's
one.
keep the giving going then. Gail, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Oh, Gail, great to have you on the line. Thank you for ringing. I mean, there's about 160,000 people who listen to this program, so it's nice that at least one of them has deigned to enter my competition.
Oh, thank you.
So look, all the very best.
Thank you.
Now listen to all the clues, Gail.
Mm-hmm.
Don't jump the gun, because this will give you the maximum chance of getting the Cheese Fest tickets.
Right.
Okay, here we go. I am a branded form of cheddar cheese available in blocks, slices and grated form. In my former incarnation, I was regarded by some people as racist. My new name is the first word of the Port Adelaide SANFL song.
Okay.
And also the Sydney Swan song.
The Port Adelaide's the first word. So I know that the old cheese is called.
It starts with the same letter. And it's something you'd say to someone if they were a bit down in the dumps and they needed to blank up.
If they needed to...
I don't know.
Cheer up?
Cheer up! Cheer! It is cheer! Yes, Gail!
I've never wanted someone to win something so much in my life. Well done, Gail. I think your mind was playing tricks on you because I could hear you were trying really hard not to say its old name.
Good on you, Gail. Congratulations to you.
You get taken to the Human Rights Commission.
Exactly right. Don't have any of that. You and 3 friends are off to Cheese Fest. 4 tickets. Australia's original and biggest cheese festival, October 19 and 20 in Rundle Park. I reckon the way things... that's Sunday this week is going to be 25 and sunny. Saturday's going to be pretty good as well. It's going to be beautiful weather to get down to Cheese Fest in Rundle Park. Good on you, Gail. We're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up. Back with Breaking at 8 in a moment.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers and a possible storm today, heading for 29 with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
Police are investigating 2 truck crashes early this morning on the Port Wakefield Highway. In the first, just after midnight, a concrete truck collided with a car at Waterloo Corner, killing a 19-year-old woman. The truck driver suffered minor injuries. Then, a few hours later, at Lower Light, a truck hit a pedestrian. The 29-year-old woman from Osborne was critically injured and rushed to hospital. The truckie wasn't hurt. Australia's consumer watchdog will be given extra funding to monitor debit card fees. Federal Politics editor Michael Packey.
The Albanese government will announce the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission will be given $2 million to tackle excessive surcharges on debit cards. It's the latest cost of living measure to be announced by the government as it tries to regain momentum, with polls showing the coalition has now edged ahead of Labor. The extra funding for the ACCC will complement work already underway by the Reserve Bank, who's looking into the payment system. The government is aiming to ban surcharges on debit cards by the start of 2026.
An Israeli airstrike in northern Lebanon has left at least 21 people dead. The attack marks the first time a Christian area has been hit and follows an attack which killed 4 Israeli soldiers at a military base. The federal government has updated travel advice, urging Australians not to travel to the Middle East. Our doctors say the government should invest more into GPs instead of pouring money into hospitals. The Royal Australasian College of GPs chair, Dr. Sean Godson, says general practice care is essential in keeping people healthy and out of hospital. GPs are visiting state parliament to urge politicians to grow the GP workforce and strengthen primary care. A high-profile resignation from state parliament is expected today. Mel Usher reports.
David Spears is tipped to make his exit from state politics official today. The former SA Liberal leader is not expected to do it in person, opting instead to forward his resignation letter to Speaker Leon Bignell. He outlined his plans in a video statement earlier this month. That will set the wheels in motion for the by-election in his southern suburb seat of Black. The Libs and Labor have already revealed their candidates. David Spears stepped down as Liberal leader in August. He'll front court next month, charged with supplying a controlled substance. The 39-year-old has vowed to clear his name of any allegations.
Toys bought from a Chinese-owned shopping platform are not meeting safety standards. Choice has tested 15 random coin and battery-operated products from Temu, finding all items failed at least one Australian safety requirement. Pop icon Cyndi Lauper is heading to Australia next year on her farewell tour, and she's coming to Adelaide. The tour will kick off later this year in Montreal before reaching our shores in April. She'll perform at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre on Thursday the 10th of April and is promising to play all her timeless hits. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Less than 36 hours remain in the AFL trade period, and Dan Houston is seemingly no closer to finding his way out of Alberton after a trade involving Collingwood and Gold Coast fell over late yesterday. It was looking like Houston would end up at the Pies, but the Power have since balked at the deal, meaning it's back to the drawing board. It's also being reported Liam Baker will end up at West Coast, but still no word on whether Bailey Smith is going to get to Geelong. Let's go to the World Game. Japan is aiming to take a huge step towards a guaranteed spot at the 2026 World Cup with victory over the Socceroos tonight. Australia is hoping to beat Japan for the first time since 2009. Defender Kai Rao says they'll be putting everything on the line.
We just want to go out there and know that if we put in the best performance we can, it gives us a good shot of giving them a red-hot crack. So, yeah, we're just focused on putting in the best performance individually and as a team, and hopefully the result takes care of itself.
To cricket, one game in the Women's T20 World Cup overnight, with New Zealand locking in a semi-final spot after a 54-run win against Pakistan. French rugby will oppose plans by World Rugby to introduce a 20-minute red card. Under the proposed new laws, a replacement player would be able to enter the match. To baseball, the New York Mets still lead the LA Dodgers 6-0 in the fourth inning in Game 2 of the National League Conference Series. The winner of that series to progress to the World Series, but the Dodgers still lead the overall series 1-0. And Week 6 of the NFL season will come to a close a little later this morning our time when the New York Jets host the Buffalo Bills. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Hey, good morning. Roads have just reopened in Virginia after that serious crash earlier this morning. Port Wakefield Road between McAvoy Road and Bevan Road. Still heavy delays backed up to the Northern Expressway and Anglevale Road. In Angle Park, 2 separate breakdowns. North-South Motorway near Grand Junction Road and a breakdown on the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Lights flashing yellow in Urbray, Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway, and a blackout affecting lights Greenfields, Port Wakefield Road near Salisbury Highway, and Woodville North, Hanson Road near Ridley Grove and outbound at 9th Avenue. Fast food shouldn't slow you down. That's why Zambrero uses only the freshest ingredients, which means it doesn't just taste good, it leaves you feeling good. Zambrero, Feel Good Mix. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Another 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A mixed few days coming up weather-wise. Showers and a possible storm today, 29. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 28. Thursday, showers, 30. Friday, showers and windy, 20 degrees. Currently, it's 21. More news as it happens on 5AA.
If you're packing up your family to travel across the land will treat you different in a Dave Benson caravan.
Summer is on the way, and at DBC, we're bringing the heat with genuine discounts. No Black Friday, no Cyber Monday, not even a free set of steak knives. Just a straight up $500,000 in discounts on Australia's largest range of new and used caravans under one roof. Prices reduced on over 100 vans in stock, ready to rock. On now until the end of November, only at Dave Benson Caravans.
It's a frightening thought, but what if you lost the capacity to manage your financial affairs? If you're not at the helm, who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier with spectacular savings on selected Smeg cooktops. Save up to $1,000. You'll also save up to $2,000 on Victoria and Portofino cookers, plus 10% off matching range hoods. With offers this good, some terms, conditions and exclusions apply. From the kitchen to the laundry, Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier. Call into 155 Paynham Road, St Peters and look at their stunning designer appliance gallery, or visit adelaideappliancegallery.com.au.
EcoVantage is part of thousands of SA families every day. Running hot baths or showers, in the laundry, our dishwashers and kitchens, it's all made better, greener and more affordable with an energy-efficient heat pump. Using around 70% less energy than traditional electric hot water services, and it's cheaper than gas hot water. Pump your power bills down and make EcoVantage part of your everyday with an energy-efficient heat pump. ecovantage.com.au.
setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 8, breaking 8 coming up very shortly. 8223 is that number. You can text us too on the Duttons text line. Duttons car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. Duttons, easy to do business with. There's so many great texts been coming through over the course of the morning. We'll get to some more of your contributions very, very shortly. What are you chuckling about?
Oh, just Terry's up and about. He's saying, oh, you always supported Turnbull owning multiple houses, and now about Albo.
Yeah. Well, this is one big house.
I might have said what I said about the 110 PM thing. I can't remember ever coming in here dying in a ditch defending Malcolm Turnbull's right.
Wasn't Turnbull's house that was better than Kirribilli a running punchline for us during that entire period about how he's going to have to downsize and move to Kirribilli?
He had to slum it when he was PM, living there directly.
It's kind of a running joke the
Sydney
entire
Opera
time
House.
we talked about him.
I think we made a few points about David Spears having a bit of a PR problem in the midst of a cost of living crisis. Not so much owning the properties, but Airbnb-ing them all.
Exactly right. Now, there is some good news. I'm just having a look at the SA power outage map for the people that have been suffering a power outage this morning in the Woodville area, some 1,000 of them. The power appears now to be back on. If that is incorrect, do let us know, but it would appear that the people affected by that massive outage in the Woodville area are now back on the grid, so to speak. Those in Fitzroy, Kilburn and Prospect still have some issues. There's some smaller localised power outages as well. But that big one that was affecting a stack of people, the good news, it is back on. To the listener that suggested the conspiracy earlier that the power only goes out in places that aren't Nord, the power is on in Nord.
Love a bit of class war. Well, if you've got more money than sense, you might want to head along to this Friday's Cabinet Exchange Forum. It's an event being held by the Labor Party's fundraising arm, SA Progressive Business, which is aimed at sort of smaller, liberal, lefty business people who've got cash to burn. But it raises interesting questions about sort of cash for access, because this is not some sort of small operation. It's not just the entire state cabinet. So every minister in the Malinauskas government, from the Premier down, plus there will also be 4 closed-room policy briefings being held by the state's most senior federal ministers, Mark Butler, Penny Wong, Don Farrell, Stephen Mulligan, and also the State Housing Minister, Nick Champion, who is a former federal MP. Now, people are paying $500 to get along to this. All that money goes directly into Labor's war chest to fund its campaigns at next year's federal election, with whatever money is left over being used to fight it in 2024 at the state level. The event is being held at an undisclosed location, clearly, because the last thing people want is to be photographed or seen rocking up to something like this where they've paid for access. We think it's a deeply sus operation. And we've asked Robert Sims, the Greens MLC, to come on because he's raised some real concerns about this. Robert, good morning.
Good morning, David and Will.
You sort of peel this back to first principles. People don't pay money like this for no reason, do they?
Well, that's exactly right, and that's my concern here. I actually think it's an outrageous set of affairs. You know, this isn't just some MPs, attending a fundraiser or a quiz night or, some sort of fundraising dinner. This is, the Cabinet and the most senior people in South Australian politics and some senior people from national politics offering themselves up to have individual one-on-one conversations and providing briefings, policy briefings. Now, I'd like to know, will people that attend this event be given access to information that isn't ordinarily available?
Yeah, good question.
What kind of information will they be provided at these policy briefings? For instance, the Housing Minister is going to be there talking about housing policy. Will developers be going along to get the ear of the Minister to find out what's going on?
I reckon the answer to that's probably the answer to that's probably yes too, because that's exactly the kind of thing that they would want to go to, because they've got a huge vested commercial interest in getting up close and personal with the minister.
Exactly, and this is what I think is deeply concerning about these sorts of events. You know, SA Progressive Business has donated $3 million to the state branch of the Labor Party since 2007. Is it the case that all of the money that's raised at this event will just go straight back into the Labor Party's hands? And of course, one of the issues for us with donation reform that we've been looking at is, even if we ban donations to political parties, the model that the government's put forward doesn't ban donations to third-party organisations. So potentially an organisation like this could run a campaign on behalf of the Labor Party and that not be touched by the current legislation. But I think this is a deeply troubling state of affairs.
The other thing that I find a bit cute is that the government spokesman is quoted as saying that Labor has these what they call world-leading donation ban proposals, but that until such a time as they're introduced, you know, it's open slather or perhaps even like mutually assured destruction, where, you know, if the Libs are going to do it, Labor says it's going to keep doing it until such a time as they actually bring their own laws in or get their laws through. It's a weird argument.
Well, it is a bit, and it seems like an arms race, doesn't it? I think there's also a really important distinction here between political parties doing fundraising. You know, at the moment, all political parties are continuing to do fundraising because we don't have a comprehensive public funding model in our state. So, you know, you need to do that in order to sustain the work of the political party. But this is a step further than that. This is actually people paying for access to people that are at the highest levels of power in our state. These are cabinet ministers. So it's something very different. They're providing individual conversations and policy briefings. That's a very different set of affairs to just an MP, you know, hosting a political party fundraiser or doing a raffle.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit embarrassing if the government doesn't get that. I also think it's just not a good look in the middle of a cost of living crisis to be hosting a glitzy event like this with Adelaide's wealthy business network. And I think a lot of South Australians would think, is this really the best use of the Cabinet's time at this moment?
Correct, 100%. Yeah, no, as I said, we don't know where it is, but we're pretty sure it's not being held at Cafe de Villiers. Robert Sims, Greens MLC. Hey, great to have us in passionate agreement with the Greens for a change. Rob, you're welcome on the show anytime.
Thank you. I'll take you up on that.
No worries. Robert
Thanks
Sims
for having me.
Thank you, Robert. It's just sus, isn't it?
It's peculiar.
And look, you know, the Libs do it too. They've done it when they've been in power. So let's make that point. But, you know, the fact that you can be from a certain field of work, a certain type of business, and you can pick your minister and go, okay, here's my wish list. Like, Elsie from Ethelston and Clem from Clemsig can't do that. You can't even get your local member to return your call half the time.
Contrast that against what you get if you're living in a safe seat in Australia right now. But if you pay, you've got privilege and access. You can get all sorts of things.
Who has written a letter to the government about anything and not even had a reply? Let us know.
Yeah. Richard, the Parkside Pirates, texted us and said, release ministerial diaries so we know who these people are being lobbied by. Where's the transparency? Now, ministerial diaries are FOIable.
Are they?
I believe. I think you can FOI them. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong about that.
Right.
I think sometimes detail comes out that way, but that's very different than just making them public from the outset. The Premier has called in following breaking at 8 this morning. Premier, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, Dave. I appreciate the chance to come on.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you ringing in, Premier.
No, that's right. The sentiments regarding people's frustration in the community about those who essentially pay for access to their political leaders are ones that I share, which is exactly why we've committed to introduce a piece of legislation which will happen this year. In fact, we would like to pass it this year, that would eliminate political donations full stop, whether it be from unions, whether it be from businesses, the whole box and dice. It's a nation-leading piece of work to essentially remove the ability for political parties and candidates to fundraise writ large.
So why are you doing it then? Because it totally offends the spirit of your legislation, doesn't it? It looks like you're trying to make hay while the sun shines before you ban the very thing you're doing this Friday.
Because it isn't banned yet. And the reason why it's not banned yet is because we've got to get the political support. We've got to get the Greens, as an example, but also ideally the Liberal Party to support this legislation and pass it.
So just to be clear, Premier, you don't think you should be allowed to do the thing you're doing this Friday?
Correct. No, look, it's pretty simple, gents. Here's the deal. We have to fundraise in order to be able to fund our next election campaign. And we can't guarantee that we'll have the funds that are required until that legislation is passed through the Parliament. So fundraising will continue, as it always has, until such a time that the Liberal Party or the Greens support our legislation. Once they support our legislation, the practice will stop for everybody. But everyone will be on a level playing field. But Dave, how can I stop fundraising now when neither the Greens nor the Liberal Party have committed to support the legislation? They will continue to fundraise, and then we would have stopped. So I know that Robert Sims doesn't come on your program and saying, "Oh, listen, we've given up on fundraising ourselves."
But they're not doing it like this. They're not having because they're not in charge of the state. I mean, you guys have got this immense tactical advantage where property developer X can rock up on Friday, talk to Nick Champion about what he'd like to see Cabinet doing, and in return for $500 get a sympathetic ear. I mean, you guys are in the box seat to do it.
He doesn't get a sympathetic ear, but he does get an ear. But there lies in my point. That's the whole reason. I mean, there is only one political party of any state in the whole of the Commonwealth that is committed to introducing a piece of legislation that removes donations, including from the union movement. I've got unions who are very grumpy at me at the moment inside the Labor Party because we're seeking to ban their capacity to donate to the Labor Party as well. I simply think it should be one rule for everybody, and we're doing something about it. But we can't cut off our nose to spite our face. I mean, what we're doing has been characterised as being politically courageous because it is to the detriment of the incumbent political party of the time, which is why no one's never done it before us.
It just seems a rare departure from logic for you, though, to be saying that this sort of behaviour is so shocking that it needs to be outlawed, but let's just get in one last crack before the law comes in anyway.
No, because the law isn't. Because I haven't even got the numbers in the Parliament yet to pass the law, Dave, and that's the issue. We've got to be able to make sure that the Liberal Party and the Greens and SA Best members and One Nation, should they so choose, support the passage of this legislation. It's really simple. If they support the passage of the legislation, then everybody's operating on the same playing field. See, political parties and candidates will operate and play by the rules that are before them, and we're no different. I'm the only one that's actually seeking to propose to change the rules in a way that will actually disadvantage the incumbent party, which at the moment is my own. So, look, we're the moment that the Libs and the Greens pass this legislation, then we'll all know what the rules of the game are and abide by it. But that's up to the Libs and the Greens.
Okay, then the opportune time to introduce Vincent Tarsier, the Leader of the Opposition, into this conversation. He's called in. Vincent Tarsier, good morning to you.
Good morning, everybody.
Thanks for that, Premier. Good morning, Vincent Tarsier.
What I was going to add to that is the Premier's forgotten to point out to all of your listeners that he's just spent $1.9 million in a recent advertising blitz. We've seen it on bus shelters, we've seen it in the papers, we've seen it on the TV, trying to convince people that the health system is better when we know that we're still going from crisis to crisis. So, look, it's all well and good to propose reforms, but as you correctly pointed out, I mean, he's saying one thing, but on the other hand, he continues to spend millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars trying to convince South Australians about how good he is at the moment.
Do the Liberals support the ban on this type of fundraising, though?
Well, we're working through the details. So we've seen an initial bill. We want to work through the detail. Look, we've got some real concerns. One is obviously what is stopping the union movement from still donating in the several of millions of dollars, but also government ads, as I've just pointed out. So we're open to a level playing field, but at the moment it's just not there.
Are you worried, though, that the Libs might end up not being able to hold events like this too and not get the sort of money you've historically received from, Chinese mining magnates and people like that?
Oh, look, I think we're all for better regulation when it comes to fundraising, and there might be some aspects of the bill that are certainly worthy of merit. All I'm saying is we've got to get this right. And at the moment, you can see the severe disadvantage that we're under because you've got a government spending millions of dollars in government ads, and you've still got the union movement that can basically do what they want.
So, I mean, we've kind of known about this legislation for a while now. How much more detail do you have to work through?
Well, as I said, the parties are contributing to the argument. I know that it's been put out for consultation. Look, if there is a genuine attempt to make who
are you consulting with? Who's it out for consultation with?
Well, I think it's out quite broadly. It's been out released for comment.
But you're consulting on your position.
Well, no, we're certainly open-minded to looking at this type of legislation. But what I'm saying is you've got to get it right, and there's still some aspects that we're yet to see the final details.
Vincent Tarzia, Peter Malinauskas and Robert Sims. Thanks to all of them for what ended up being a very extended breaking at 8.
What an odd situation.
I really think on this issue, Mally's like the bloke who's decided he's going to quit smoking, but sneaks off to the local chop shop and buys one last carton of illegal Marlboro Reds.
So just to work through this,
I just want to get 10 final packs into me before we ban this once and for all.
So the state government are doing something they think is wrong. The opposition, knowingly, the opposition is criticising them for it, but refusing to support a ban on doing it.
Yeah. Well, the one part of the opposition, of the Liberal Party's concern that I think is valid, what's to stop, under Labor's laws, what's to stop a future Labor government saying, no, we don't take donations from the unions anymore, but then for the Ambulance Employees Association to go to their members and say, we're sick of ramping, we're going to run a massive campaign, and the members go, yep, fair enough. So you get a union bankrolling what is effectively an anti-Liberal government ad, the way they did with Ashley Ambo, and Labor goes, well, they didn't give us any money. There's a lot of overlap with the unions.
That's a reasonable concern.
A big sort of red flag for the Conservative side of politics.
Right.
But equally, they've got their mates in the big end of town who bankroll them.
All right, interesting. Get your feedback coming through on the Duttons text line. Already lots is. Traffic first, though. Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Yeah, guys, major crash from earlier this morning clearing in Virginia, Port Wakefield Road at McAvoy Road. In Waterloo Corner, got a car fire after a car's hit a roo, Port Wakefield Road near Waterloo Corner Road. And some breakdowns, Angle Park, North-South Motorway near Grand Junction Road affecting both directions. And O'Halloran Hills, Southern Expressway near Majors Road affecting inbound. Win over $576 million in today's USA Power Lotto. Get more zeros in your life with Australia's own lotteryoffice.com.au. Hurry, draw closes in just a few hours. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
NRG Solar knows that solar isn't just about panels. It's about future-proofing. Start your journey to self-sufficiency today. Be the visionary. Take charge. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. Discover the power of solar at NRG Solar. Call 1300 858 160 or visit nrgsolar.com.au and make tomorrow brighter. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
Companies and small business that use one solution for their IT management, cybersecurity and AI implementation are always ahead of the curve and ready for anything. One Solution is local too, a full-service technology company right here in Adelaide, offering a diverse range of solutions across IT, telecommunications, phone and mobile systems, cybersecurity and AI. Today, more than ever, it's important to safeguard your business. Do it with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
If you're thinking of selling your home, you'd better think 4 months ahead, because that's how long it can take to get everything in order. Hi, Daniel Talia here, General Manager of Home. That's HAUME. And I'm here with some good news. We'll buy your home right now. No waiting, no fees, no open inspections, and no marketing costs. You'll save in the tens of thousands, and we can settle when it suits you. Visit home.com.au. We buy homes, and remember, HAUME.com.au.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Let's have a look at the fuel situation this morning. With hundreds of ways to save every day, it's better to be a member with RAA Rewards. The ex-convenience Grand Junction Road, Port Adelaide, $1.53.5 is probably as cheap as you're going to find it this morning. The ex-convenience Goodwood Road Panorama, $1.55.5. The mobile at Lower North East Road Paradise, also $1.55.5. The cheapest diesel, the OTR North East Road Holden Hill at $1.64.9.
I like this text from Will in Goodwood. He says, all politicians should be made to wear racing suits like supercar drivers, then at least we know who's bought them. Imagine that, like Talladega Nights. Old Spice.
Yeah.
Chic and Beck. And Chris says, well, we know one thing, Mally and Tarzia must wait with bated breath to hear what the subject is for breaking at 8 each day.
They were both quick out of the blocks, weren't they?
Yep. Thanks to both of them for calling in.
Interesting debate, that one. Keep your feedback coming through.
There's a lot of feedback. One here saying big end of town in Labor's pocket. Another one saying unions are Labor. Pete says... Quentin says, hey, Pete, you needed the Benny Hill theme song for that explanation. Yakety sax.
Keep it coming through. You can call in as well, of course. 8223 0000 is our number. Marta Dusseldorp will be coming up on the program this morning. People will know her from A Place to Call Home, but she's appearing in lauded for a role in a new film that's premiering at the Adelaide Film Festival, so it'll be in town. That's coming up. We'll get into that and more after 8:30. 5AA News first.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
29 with showers and a possible storm today. With the 8:30 news, I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
Major crash officers are investigating a fatal accident at Waterloo Corner this morning. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says it happened on Port Wakefield Highway just after midnight.
A concrete truck and a Lexus sedan had collided. Now, sadly, the driver of the sedan, a 19-year-old woman from Buckland Park, she died at the scene. And the driver of the truck was taken to hospital where he's being treated for minor injuries and assisting police with the investigation. And sadly, that woman's life is the 69th life lost this year.
And there was another accident on Port Wakefield Highway involving a truck this morning. It hit a pedestrian at the intersection of Richardson Road at Lower Light. The 29-year-old woman from Osborne was taken to hospital with critical injuries. The driver of the truck, a 38-year-old man, was uninjured and taken to hospital for mandatory testing. Surcharges on card payments could soon be a thing of the past. The federal government is considering scrapping the extra cost to push down costs imposed on retailers and their customers. Payment Services Managing Director Brad Kelly says some are paying more than others.
Small business pays an enormous amount more money for the same transaction as a big business. So we saw one yesterday, 2.59%, so $2.59 on a $100 transaction. I can assure you, your supermarket doesn't pay $2.59 for your $100 debit transaction. No. They're paying a cent or two.
Adelaide is the second most expensive city to live in if you're single. Data from Ray White reveals the best and worst places to rent if you live alone, and surprisingly, Sydney isn't the most unaffordable. The findings are based on a person spending 30% or less of their income on rent and uses ABS data on average weekly incomes and current median unit rents. The least affordable cities to rent as a single person were Brisbane and Adelaide, likely reflecting very strong rental growth for apartments in the cities over the past 3 years. More than a third of South Australian households struggle to put food on the table in the past year. Mel Usher says Foodbank and the RAA are teaming up to lend a helping hand.
35% of all SA households experienced food insecurity in the past year, according to Foodbank's latest hunger report. For single-parent households, it rises to 69%. Food insecurity can range from households reducing the quality or variety of their food to having their eating patterns disrupted due to financial pressure. This week, the RAA and Foodbank are holding their 5th annual food drive. South Australians can donate food items at participating RAA outlets or catch up with the mobile food hub. It will be at Woolworths in Mount Barker today, Newton Village Shopping Centre tomorrow, Marion on Thursday and in the mall on Friday.
The Greens have called on the state government to drop Santos as a Tour Down Under sponsor if they're serious about wanting the COP31 climate summit in Adelaide. Greens MP Tammy Frank says SA has to walk the talk by dropping Santos as a fossil fuel company as an event sponsor. However, a government spokesman said the reason South Australia was leading the country in renewables was because the state uses gas. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Dan Houston is still expected to be traded to Collingwood. That's the report, despite a three-team move being sensationally snubbed by Port Adelaide. With just 2 days left of the trade period, there's been no breakthrough on talks for Bailey Smith to join Geelong, with the draft still a prospect for him. But trade analyst Matthew Lloyd says he's confident a deal will get done before the deadline.
Geelong won't want Bailey Smith having to wait another month or 2 months to get through. I reckon everyone's talking tough, but someone will budge, and he'll be a cat, I think, by Wednesday. So it's about how they can just get up the order a little bit more, the cats, to satisfy the dogs.
Bathurst champion and South Aussie Todd Hazelwood says he's now relishing the opportunity to race in next month's Adelaide Velo 500 event next month. Hazelwood will be competing in the Trans Am support category, and he told Stacey Lee it'll be great to be back amongst friends and family.
It's going to be an amazing event as always, and they've even added more to the show this year with introducing speedways at night as well. So yeah, it's going to be an action-packed weekend for many reasons at Velo Adelaide 500, and for me, being a proud South Aussie, can't wait to come home.
Meantime, Australian Grand Prix chiefs have set a Christmas deadline to decide whether the popular post-race practice of fans spilling onto the Albert Park circuit will ever return. And in some horse racing to finish, the Everest hopeful I Am Me has passed a fitness test under the eye of Racing New South Wales race stewards. She's cleared to run in Saturday's $20 million race at Royal Randwick. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Hey, good morning. In Waterloo Corner, a car fire after a car hit a roof or Wakefield Road near Waterloo Corner Road. Debris on the road in Torrens Park following a crash, Blair Road near Grange Road. Still got that major crash from earlier this morning clearing in Virginia, Port Wakefield Road at McAvoy Road, with heavy delays affecting both directions. And a blackout affecting lights in Woodville North, Hanson Road near Ridley Grove, and outbound at 9th Avenue. Australia, the national 3G network is closing. Check your tech so you and your family stay safe and connected. Visit 3gclosure.com.au and act before the 28th of October. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
And a mixed bag ahead. Showers and a possible storm today, 29. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 28. Thursday, showers, 30. Friday, showers and windy, 20 degrees. Currently, it's 21. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Do you know how much that old fridge in the shed is adding to your electricity bill? Your energy saving solutions can collect your old inefficient fridges and freezers for free, and the best part is that you can also get up to $150 per unit. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
Happy 70th birthday, Volkswagen. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen invites you to get in on the celebrations with a huge birthday sale on new and demo Volkswagens. School birthday savings right across the range. Timing is easy with immediate delivery and easy finance options. And it's easy to keep your Volkswagen running like a dream with convenient next day servicing. Join the VW Club and test drive today. Happy 70th Volkswagen from Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Just a short drive from the city.
Now, are you a My Aged Care or NDIS provider, or maybe an occupational therapist looking after elderly clients? Well, if so, now listen up here, you really need to offer your clients the excellent Care Alert Smart Dialer to protect them either at home alone or when they are out and about.
Now, the Steele family have given us some amazing products over a period of 40 years. The safety switch, of course, was brilliant. And now the Care Alert Smart Dialer, great life-saving products.
And just to repeat that point from the start, these things fit your lifestyle. It's the genius of them. You can use them if you're a stay-at-home person or if you're out and about moving around. They're all digitally linked up now, so they know where you are at all times. And look, so many providers use Care Alert, not just because it's a great product, but also because of the exceptional speed at which they can have a fully programmed system in their clients' homes.
The Steels are a bit like our own resident Elon Musk here in in Adelaide, instead of, shooting the Maya Centre into space and then catching it with a pair of giant chopsticks, they're actually saving people's lives.
That's right.
Care Alert are happy to come to providers and do a free product demonstration as well. The Smart Dialer ensures immediate assistance in case of falls or emergencies, and it's even simple enough to be ordered online.
So give your clients and their families real peace of mind by using your client's care package to buy the brilliant Care Alert Smart Dialer. To find out how Care Alert can support your clients, visit the website carealert.com.au or call 1300 75 85 95.
Right Price, Adelaide's best in heating and cooling, has risen to new heights. Literally, Right Price are now your roofing people too. Same exceptional service, value and quality. From total roof replacement, including tiled roof installation, to tile roof repairs, cleaning and painting. And for peace of mind, a rock-solid quote. So the only surprise you'll get is how magnificent your roof and home looks. Do it right. Visit rightpriceroofing.com.au.
You can get your roof right at Right Price.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Local and experienced trade specialists.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Twenty-one minutes to 9. How about this for a story that was just broken in the last half an hour? Detectives are investigating a damage caused to a gift shop and then deliberately set alight.
A gift shop, does it sell tobacco?
Yeah, I reckon it might. Just before, will you be the judge? Have a listen to this. Just before 5 a.m. this morning, a member of the public reported a shop on fire on Addison Road at Pennington. MFS crews attended and extinguished the flames, believed to be caused by accelerant used on a mattress at the front of the business premises.
Gift shop.
It appears that a vehicle may have been driven into the front of the shop prior to the building being set alight, causing significant damage to the building structure. I mean, no one accidentally drives into a shop and then
flaming mattress.
and then applies a flaming mattress to its interior by accident, I would have thought.
Gift shop's a nice euphemism for
a
shop like that.
So that would mean...
With Mother's Day just around the corner,
that would
maybe you'd like to buy an 8-chamber shisha pipe.
That would mean we're up to about 15 or 16 of these sorts of events now. This is out of control. This is a crime wave that is absolutely out of control in Adelaide at the moment.
Well, there was the one you drove past on Henley Beach Road a couple of weeks ago. There was
one in the news, 7 News last night.
I wonder if
there's going to be another one today.
When you're popping in to get your illegal smokes, I suppose they're all overnight, aren't they? They're doing a roaring trade, these shops.
Clearly. The thing that makes me wonder as well is, so we're hearing about all those that are clearly refusing to pay protection money and then getting burnt down. I wonder how many are out there paying the money. I wonder how many people are getting approached and going, we're just going to pay $5,000, maybe whatever it might be.
Maybe the telltale sign that they're paying up is that they haven't actually caught fire yet.
How widespread is this practice? That's going to be a big story over the course of the day. Let's head to Craigmore, because Danny's called in on Breaking at 8 this morning. Danny, good morning to you.
G'day, boys. How you going?
Good, thanks, Danny.
Very, very interesting subject this morning. Now, what I honestly think, and there's probably a million people out there, it's all well and good for Mr. Malinauskas to go, we're going to stop donations to political parties and whatnot, but the two major parties are already at an advantage over the minor parties and any of the independents, and especially anyone new coming up through the ranks or wanting to get involved in politics, because it'll become too expensive. So really, it's virtuous and all, love and mung beans and all of that stuff, but it's smoke and mirrors, because what it does, it advantages the Labor Party and the Liberal Party above everybody else, independents, the Greens, everyone. Well, maybe not so much the Greens, because they've probably got a fighting fund and donors through the back door. But anyway, we won't.
I know what you're saying, though, Danny. I mean, that was one of the initial objections raised to the legislation, was what it would mean for people who want to start a new party or want independents that want to come in.
Does it just entrench the power of existing parties?
Now, the only thing I would take issue with, Danny says it benefits both the Labor and Liberal Party. Well, the Libs aren't convinced of that yet.
I wonder what people like Frank Pangallo would make of it, because he's in that exact position. Dave texted in on the Duttons text line saying, if they don't raise funds for campaigns, does it mean that the public will have to fund it?
Yes.
The answer to that is yes.
Yes, taxpayer funded.
So we get taxpayer funded election campaigns, which might actually rub some people up the wrong way as well. We had a mountain of texts about this from memory, because our computer screen has just cacked itself, but there was one that said that instead of having this Friday meet and greet for Adelaide's cashed up cognoscenti to rub shoulders with Cabinet, maybe the government could spend its energy into fixing the South Road train bypass where this person had been sitting for the last 15 minutes.
Well, it's Joe. I've got the text here. Joe says, guys, I'll vote first for anyone that fixes the train crossing at Cross and South Road, 15 minutes in waiting. Thank you for that, Joe. Michael says, I must be in the minority, but the Premier operating under the current rules doesn't faze me. He's at least trying to fix it, unlike Tricky Tarzia. A bit of a sort of Donald Trump-esque flourish from...
Tricky Tarzia.
Tricky Tarzia. From Michael, thank you. Steve says, fellas, the Premier loves the term nation-leading. One area where actually nation-leading is power prices. I wonder how many renewables leaders will be at the Labor lobbying fundraising festival. Thank you, Steve. Rick says, well, at least now we know where Mally will be on Friday at a get-to-know-us for $500. Far too busy to meet the king. Pathetic, says Rick. That was the subject of our jury a little bit earlier this morning. Keep the feedback coming in. You can call us too, of course, as well on 8223 0000.
One text here asking, has the cigarette tax created a prohibition situation? I'm actually academically interested in how governments will solve this problem, perhaps through cheaper cigarettes. Imagine that. No government's going to say we're going to cut tobacco excise, are they?
I can't imagine.
The health lobby would go berserk. Although maybe it's actually, it's a bit like this is your field of expertise, Will, freakonomics. So is there a point at which the tax becomes so high that the business case for illegal smuggling of tobacco is so compelling based on the volume of cigarettes you can shift?
The answer is yes.
When a pack of fake Marlboros or whatever it is that you choose to smoke might cost between $15 to $20 versus $55.
Well,
so suddenly there's a
huge... Well, for normally law-abiding people to make a decision to do something illegal that they wouldn't otherwise do, and we know there's an ultimate example of this, test case, it's called prohibition, where normally law-abiding people went and bought illegal alcohol and went to speakeasies and started selling it at their door. We've had it in Australia where people try to get around the regulations about selling alcohol at times of the day or on weekends, on Sundays in previous generations in Australia. And normally, once you create a marketplace where normally law-abiding people are willing to do something illegal, I think you've got a massive problem.
And it's the type of thing, too, that any number of rationalisations can enter your mind where you think, well, there's all these cigarettes here anyway, and, you know, I pay my taxes, I work hard, I pay the higher Medicare levy, etc., etc., and if everyone else is buying them, why not?
Yeah.
So
well, it's that sort of social contract governments have with people, where people accept, oh, well, I'm going to have to pay a little bit more for this, that, and the other thing, but there's a breaking point. Maybe we've reached the breaking point when it comes to tobacco products. Dave in Clarence Gardens has called in. Morning, Dave.
G'day, fellas. You're talking about the tax on cigarettes and maybe we need to drop it. Maybe the penalty that these guys operate under, we need the penalty to be higher. Like, make it $500,000 fine and 5 years jail for selling them.
Well, that would be the other option. The GPS is debuted on 5AA Breakfast there in the background too, Dave. That was good. Just be wary of that speed camera that's coming up.
Yeah, exactly. Turn left at Dawes Road.
Well, that's the other way you approach, isn't it? You have more onerous penalties for people that do the wrong thing. But I'm not even sure that entirely wipes it out. Once it becomes a business model for organised crime, like they're already criminal enterprise, they're not going to care.
I think all the people who are involved in it too, like, probably got nothing to lose. You know, the people who are doing the selling, Because I suppose it's like any form of drugs, isn't it? The people who are actually selling the smokes in these dodgy gift shops aren't the people who are doing the importation.
That's exactly right. All right, let's check traffic thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Yeah, we'll watch out for a crash this morning in Para Hills West. That's on Bridge Road near Goodall Road. There's a car fire in Waterloo Corner. Cars hit a roo, Port Wakefield Road near Waterloo Corner Road. And some debris on the road in Torrens Park following a crash. That's on Blair Road near Grange Road. Are your tyres electric? Hankook Iron, pioneer with Hankook Evolution technology, especially for electric cars and SUVs. Hankook Iron, official partner of Formula E. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future. To build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
You don't just do a good barbie, you're the tong master. You're not just flipping snags, you've earned the title Backyard Hospitality Director. So, you deserve the very best outdoor kitchen from Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens.
That's right. Choose from the best appliances, add a bar fridge, a pizza oven, or stun your guests with one of their custom-made concrete bench tops. They do indoor concrete bench tops too. These handmade bench tops can really update any kitchen space. Custom-made for you. Every piece is unique, especially for you.
Call for a consultation and quote today or visit the Seaford Meadows showroom on Farrow Circuit. The best backyard hospitality directors choose Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens. Go to adelaideoutdoorkitchens.com.au.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 to 9, this time next week will be the night before the start of the Adelaide Film Festival that runs through until the 3rd of November, so the 23rd of October through to the 3rd. This is a wonderful festival, now a huge local productions debuting at it, including With or Without You, that's starring our next guest, Marta Dusseldorp, who you'll know from shows like A Place to Call Home, which was just a terrific Australian production. I reckon a lot of our listeners will be familiar with that. You know, from her work on Wentworth, Jack Irish, Bay of Fires as well. Joining us now on 5AA Breakfast, Marta Dusseldorp. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
We're great, thank you, Marta. Thanks so much for joining us. So give us a bit of a sense of your new film, With or Without You. It's the story of a middle-aged alcoholic. It sounds like a pretty bleak sort of a topic.
Actually, it's not a film about my character, who is a middle-aged alcoholic. It's the story of her daughter, actually, and meeting this young man and falling in love, and it's very Romeo and Juliet, and my character is more Lady Macbeth.
Right. Oh, really?
But yeah, look, it's a rollicking, gorgeous tale written by Kelly Schilling, who is Adelaide resident, and this is a story close to her heart. But she's the first-time director, and she did such a stunning job with both the script and directing us in Adelaide. So,
geez, that makes it a very personal project for her, doesn't it? What was it like being directed by the person who's essentially the source material, where you're playing her real life mother?
I'm not sure if I was exactly. I mean, everything is put through the lens of fiction and drama because, of course, we have to make it good for the audience. So most people try to steer away from it being absolutely autobiographical. But I think it's amazing because they care so much. When you work with someone who put their heart and soul and 5-7 years into building the script and finding the finance and casting and curating it, when you're on set, every second counts. So it has a really special, unique, fricker about it. And so everyone's very intent, everyone's there for the same reason, and for that it went really smoothly. And I think it's a beautiful film. It's funny, it's sad, it's dramatic, but it also has a really lovely light touch to it, because she has a gorgeous sense of humour, Kelly.
So do you come to Adelaide to be part of the festival, Marta, or is it something where now you're coming?
Yeah, I'm going to be there for the opening, and it'll be the first time I will have seen the film graded and with the music and
really?
All the ADR and VFX that goes on, and so I'm very excited. Yeah.
What's it like as an actor when you see that final edited, ready for the audience version of a film? How do you relate in the watching of it?
Well, I'm just in post-production for FIVEAA Season 2, because I create that, I produce it, and I'm in that one, so I'm in the room the whole time for everything. And so for that one particularly, I look at it, I guess it's a little bit less because I created FIVEAA. So if I go to With or Without You, I do an ego watch, so I sort of sit there going, did that work? Oh, God, that was terrible. Oh, no, I can't believe they used that shot. I remember it physically, emotionally, and then I do another watch, which is for the story. But with FIVEAA, it's different because I create it. I don't need to do the ego watch. Instead, I just watch it as something that either works or doesn't. Is it engaging me? Am I wondering why I'm sitting here? So I put myself much more into an audience kind of experience.
Must be. I mean, I'm intrigued in Kelly Schilling's story a bit too, Marta, given, she's a local and first-time director and, a new talent getting an opportunity to direct like this in an environment where, some would argue movies are increasingly difficult to make and character pieces increasingly, and original works are increasingly rare globally. Working with a new director must be quite a thrilling experience.
Well, she has directed television in the past, but it's her first film. Full feature film. Yeah, I think it's extraordinary to watch people take flight. And I think because this was such a passion project for Kelly, being an older woman now, I like to mentor women, men and women, and everyone else in between. It's something that fills me with joy. I mean, I'm a mum of 2 girls, so I look at their future and what's there for them. And I just saw her absolutely blossom. And I agree with you. I think independent Australian films are becoming a very rare species, and we need to get behind them and back them. What 100%. I do know about the world is they love our characters. They love the way Australians portray themselves and their connections with each other. Our emotional landscape is incredibly unique in the English-speaking world because we are not Americans and we're not British. So what I know is this will travel, and the more we make our Australian stories, the better off we'll be as a culture and as a nation.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely. Well, great to hear you coming to Adelaide, Marta, and it's a great film festival. It's always something that's well patronised. Marta Dusseldorp, ahead of next week's Adelaide Film Festival. Hey, a bit of breaking at 8:55. The Energy Minister, Tom Koutsantonis, has had his office there on Henley Beach Road at Cowandilla vandalised quite badly by Extinction Rebellion. I'm looking at a photo of it now. It's covered in red paint.
On Henley Beach Road?
Yeah. The one, you drive past it every morning.
Drive past it every day.
On
it's not exactly close to the gas convention.
No. Well, he came on our show yesterday saying that gas is an inevitable and essential part of our clean energy future, that at the moment you need gas to back up renewables.
He also said, and this will be lost on these people, it will inevitably be phased out, he thinks, by 2050.
2050, exactly. And he also made the point that this is one of the reasons why, with South Australia having a much higher than the national average penetration, and by international standards off the charts, many more renewables here than elsewhere. That's why we're going for the COP conference.
So they've vandalised his office?
They've painted the words climate criminal on it, out the front there on Henley Beach Road, and chucked a big bucket of red paint over the front of his old Federation bungalow. So
just to sum up what you said, which is completely incredibly important, the office of the Energy Minister in the place of Australia with the greatest penetration of renewable energy has been vandalised. You pack of morons.
100%.
Talk about setting back your cause for your 2 minutes of fame.
Oh, look, these people, I'm not sure who said it first, but they never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. You know, if it's not that silly cow dangling off Morford Street Bridge and giving everyone the you-know-whats, or lying in the middle of Victoria Square with their bums aquadiered to the road, or doing this to Coots. It's just ridiculous, and they are just a free ad for, you know, the worst climate skeptics and deniers in the world. You know, you just look at that sort of behaviour and you think these people should just, you know, they need to scrub down with a bar of Solvo and, you know, clip behind the ears, knock some sense into their dreadlock scones, because they have got absolutely no sense or logic or taste, and, you know, and the taxpayers are going to foot the bill for the clean-up.
All right, there'll be more on that story over the course of the day, I have no doubt. Matt Pantella.